Jade is the one guy that doesn't.
Hi guys. So like we're beginning now, and last time we did some things and we saw some people and some stuff happened, and then after that is now, and we have someone else at the table. Hello everyone. There's our camera, and there's our camera, and there's our camera. Let's begin.
Yeah, we brought everyone in person this time except for the Asian one. So
the Asian one who's on a laptop. Right
We're keeping him in his own country.
And the own country known as Oklahoma.
The government got rid of
Instead, we got another white guy with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
And you just completely understandable. You completely
howdy,
cut off
I'm
his
sorry.
comment.
Howdy, I'm from another campaign you've seen. Whatever.
We kind of cut off your comment earlier. What did you say, Zach?
The government.
The
government got rid of DEI, so Zach didn't send the invite over.
More like Zach's too much of a bitch to drive 2 hours. Anyway.
we all know he lives in Oklahoma now. Do your work, dox the shit out of him.
Dox.
We don't even know. We don't
He's
even
a
know where he
software
lives.
engineer. There will be firewalls. Don't worry. I believe.
But I
in you
will
guys.
warn you, his father does know a lot of
People.
Okay. So Jade, thanks for the intro. That did absolutely nothing to recap last session.
I don't remember what happened last session.
What happened last session is you guys fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And
Hold
don't
on.
forget about the plunger.
Don't forget about the plunger.
Yeah.
After a very unnecessary and lengthy conversation with Centol, some decisions were made of how the planning will go. A little bit of info on what you might be looking at in terms of combat-wise at the Longwood Estate. A particular group of hounds, 8-legged beasts that can turn invisible. A large multitude of vampire spawns, some more powerful, some less. The more old they are, obviously, the more powerful. A ogre troll mixture of some kind, who seemingly is quite dumb, but large and dexterous. Was there anything else that was mentioned?
We need to make sure to kill the hounds, otherwise they're gonna come back for us.
Yes.
The spooky invisible hounds of some kind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
What else was mentioned?
There was
He's got
a
a lot
plan.
of
There was a
vampires.
plan to use bombs. We didn't know the structural integrity point, so they weren't going to do that.
No, I thought we
You
were
really
gonna
did
do bombs.
speed
Or are you guys going to do bombs?
I mean, I thought we were. Because, I mean, we can just, like, blow up over there when we're all over here and it'll distract people.
We definitely don't have enough TNT for that.
Yeah, but we have enough, at least
Oh, there was an
some
idea for
TNT.
tear gas, and that definitely wasn't going to go through.
Yeah.
There was an idea to overwhelm them with garlic, even though garlic is ineffective.
Well, overwhelm them with the smell of garlic.
Yes, I know.
So, along all of those lines, you guys eventually, or at least most of you, listened in on a bit of a rowdy heart-to-heart almost between Leopold and Sakir, in which
More like tip to tip.
That
in which
sexual
many
tension was
jokes.
vibrant.
The sexual tension was
Like,
kind of crazy.
But
We even heard clapping in there.
Yeah, you guys heard a lot of clapping. Yeah, one clap, one really loud clap.
That's all it took.
That's all it took. One pump jump. Leopold, come on.
Bottom.
Actually, don't. You did it already.
hold on, if I have the power bomb, wouldn't he be stepping with me?
Well, yes, but you're the one who slapped him. So
Well,
It is what it is.
yeah.
you caused the clap.
The clap
Yeah,
heard
he's
around
spread,
the
dude,
world.
yeah, the clap is already spreading around, man.
Clap's already
The
moved.
clap.
Yo, focus.
The clap
Zach.
exists.
Yes. So we enter back into the session as the party has split once again.
Like them
We have the Anadeus brothers along with the member of the Kravas Guild, goes by the name of Randall. Your trio is on horseback, going back down to Vox Camp 3 as quick as you guys can to bring this debacle before Finch and any other members of the Vox Savorum that you can. While the rest of the party, that being Wayne, Leopold, and Lennon, were left in the city of Team to approach a particular senator. Do you guys have the senator's name on hand?
Senator
Armstrong.
Savarium Lucar. Thank you for having notes.
You're welcome.
I was just
Svarium
about to pull it up.
Lucar, seemingly a possible old friend of your boss, Lycus Aranon. So, as we enter back into this game, we are going to start with the group that has been left in team. So, it is mid-morning on this fine day. You guys were last left at the tavern at the Platinum Aboleth. What would you guys like to do?
If this senator knows, like, should we have gotten the sending stone from Marcus?
Okay. You almost had me screaming.
I did not.
And not in a good way.
Can
There-
you
there is
repeat
no-
that? Thomas decided to join the Discord call, and everything went sideways.
Oh no.
I believe he was wondering if we should have gotten the sending stone to Lycus because we're going to go talk to the guy who knows Lycus.
Too late now?
Oh well.
Oh wow.
So,
Yeah, we already left.
you guys have been left in the city. Maybe brains were a little scrambled after the
He didn't talk to Lycus. He probably has a way to reach him.
very
Yeah.
short sleep. Even though you are elves, it was not a lot.
Sans the not elf.
Yes, but he didn't stay up
definitely,
as
yeah,
long as the
true.
rest of you guys did.
Anyways, Leopold is definitely going to be like freshening up in whoever passes as a bathroom for this place, because knowing that he is going to be meeting an esteemed senator, Leopold needs to be looking his best.
Dude, just have Lennon cast Prestidignation. Prestidignation.
Batman.
Indignation.
Indignation.
Does Lennon even have prestidigitation?
Brigand
Right, Wayne.
Lennon definitely has prestidigitation, and he has made a point to use it.
Am I
I was gonna say, I'm
prestidigitation?
pretty sure, yeah, he's used it multiple
Yeah,
times.
Lennon has used it a myriad of times.
I've only inverse used it and made things worse on people. So,
Yeah.
So
So,
it balances out, Leopold, if you ask both of them in a way.
Though,
Yeah.
to be fair, prestidigitation will not make a suit, magically finer. For that, you need, minor illusion.
and money.
Prestidigitation.
And or
If
money.
anybody,
And or
if
money.
anybody has heat metal, we can iron your clothes.
So, outside of Leopold pressing and pulling out his best attire that he keeps with him on the road, is there anything you guys would like to do before approaching members of the Sapphire Guard? And remind me, was there a particular way that Lycus told you to attempt to acquire a audience?
I do not have that noted down if it was.
I was gonna say, because I don't believe he did.
He did
He
all
did.
he said was
Mention his
to
name.
head
Yeah.
to
I was
the headquarters or whatever,
Yeah,
and
I
mention
was-
his name.
just thinking, show off my signet ring, badge of office with the Inexorables, and that would probably get some noble.
Say, you had to specifically say there was a mess. He's like, we have an important message from
Lycus.
Yes.
I feel that if we show up with a member of, the Action Call, I say Action Call, jeez. If we show up with a member of the Azure
Azure Sky Libraries?
and a noble, we'll be, between us, we'll have at least some credential.
And the fact that we do have our
And
next
priest.
badge.
mm-hmm.
And a priest. How holy do you look right now, Wayne?
You're a preacher.
No preacher. There's a
Hold
very,
on,
very
hold on.
thinly veiled line between.
Wayne, how holy do you look?
How holy did the preachers look in like 1750 when they were coming across the Midwest? Because
So
that's
you're-
about how holy he
So
looks.
you're more HOLEY then.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a leather duster and like a big ol' like brim hat. It's
Just
kind
to
of like
save your
between
soul.
a bowler and a cowboy hat. Like it's not either one of those, but it's kind of like in between.
It's got the
Alright.
shape of a bowler, but it's also like wide.
Kinda, yeah.
Once
It's closer to like a Quaker hat almost.
Yeah. Once Leopold is done freshening up and he sees that, he's just wanted that you should probably prestidigify yourself up a little bit, considering we are going to be meeting a senator, and we don't want to make a bad impression on one of Lycus's allies.
He's just gonna kind of stare at you for a second and then snap his fingers. Just be like, there you go. And literally almost nothing changes about it.
These
Much
things
better.
are permanent.
Very well. Are you ready to leave, then?
Like the dust is shiny.
That's too early.
Here comes glitter.
I'll be fine. Just gotta clean myself. How clean up do I have to be for this meeting? I guess.
Ideally, the most you've ever been in your life, but considering time is of the essence, just do your best.
Then he'll like properly straighten his hair, and then clean his, then do a quick like prestidigitation over his robes. It's like he'll still have like the dark like bags under his eyes from like 3 hours of sleep or like something like that.
Yeah, I do know that you went to sleep earlier than everybody else.
Yes, but earlier relative to what, like 10, like 15 minutes? Or something.
Regardless, off we shall be.
So, as you guys make your way out, you don't know exactly where a headquarters is, but after a short period of time, you stumble across a few members of the Sapphire Guard who kind of point you in the right direction. After finding your way, you probably stumble through the city for about 40, maybe 50 minutes, before this grand building made out of, like, this stained glass that's 3 stories tall, very, very large. Almost surprisingly so. It is stained green, and there's a lot of symbols of like docks and seaside faring. There are some more standard symbols of sapphires and such. As you guys enter into what you assume to be the precinct. Yes.
Entirely made out of stained glass?
Yes. It does have like steel supports through it.
Yeah, like a stained glass window, but like a stained glass.
The vast majority,
greenhouse.
effectively, the vast majority of the outer walls are just stained glass. The panes range from anywhere from 10 feet wide to almost 50 feet wide, and then scale up floor at a time.
I imagine there must be a scorcher in there. But I hope you heard that.
Scorcher.
It must.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's a giant fucking greenhouse.
It must take forever to clean.
Regardless, let's get inside. We don't particularly have time to be wasting.
He's gonna take just a moment and stand out in front and just kind of take it all in and be like, kind of satisfied nod to himself. He's taking notes for when he builds his ultra mega church.
Really could use more color.
Yeah, with the Sapphire Guard, you'd expect it to be more blue. It's a bit more green.
I guess the Sapphire Guard is more so the catch-all name for most city guard. Maybe this version of Sapphire is more like a seafoam green sapphire.
Regardless, inside we shall go.
I actually don't understand that. This is the first Sapphire Guard you've come across.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because I don't remember what the guards in like Nocasdale were called, but they definitely were the Sapphire Guard.
No,
Wait.
they were not, and neither was the guards in Sargoth or
Weren't
in
the
Sumo
guards
or
from overseas? Like
Wait,
Arkstone.
I also completely meant to say Sargoth.
Wait.
earlier.
What was the Stargate Guard called? I thought they were also the Sapphire Guard.
They were not the Sapphire Guard.
I just remember
Zach
Nocasdale's
Henson's notes are
campaign
pretty
one.
good.
He's about to...
There's such thing as green sapphires.
I mean, there
Such
is.
thing as black sapphires.
Oh, we're gonna.
Really shouldn't waste time on this, but I am curious now.
We love time.
Come on,
wasting in
Zach
this
Henson, look at
household.
your notes. What were the guards called in Sargoth?
It's called a black star sapphire.
I literally thought they were called the Sapphire Guards. That's what I have in my notes.
Whoa.
If they are, I will be surprised.
If they are, that's gonna be the greatest plot twist. That one Zack beat the other Zack.
That's not how this works. Honestly, I think in Stardown I took more notes on Ken Severin than the Mega Guard.
Hold on. I think it's Cobalt Guard.
Yeah, it was the Cobalt Guard.
Different blue.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was not the Sapphire Guard. I can guarantee.
So
that.
the next city is gonna have like Cerulean Guard, then
The Topaz Guard.
No, I'm trying to think of like shades of blue and Topaz.
I'm surprised you haven't done the first one I think of, Lapis Lazuli.
No. There's the Lapis Guard, but then there's the Lazuli Guard in their sister city.
The Lazuli are the elite force within the Lapis Guard.
Either way, we are completely getting off track. Inside the giant greenhouse.
Inside,
it's
there's
Navy
a
SEALs.
boxed-in area of not stained glass, but normal wood and glass on the inside of the building, where it seems to be like this kind of courtyard inside this precinct, where there's little stations of desks set all around you. There's no like obvious door to get past them, but you guys kind of find one of the open stations and make your way over there, where a dwarven man who's probably somewhere in his 300s at this point, just an old ass dude, white beard that goes well below his desk, is sitting there, and you see him stamp something as you approach.
Loophole at this point is he was holding out his badge of the Inexorables with his Lenotton signet ring, also very visible, just waiting for the dwarven man to react.
Damn it. That's rough, bud.
Do you have something in your throat, Leo? You need a lozenge? Like when we'll start like
Hello.
thinking about this bad.
Yes, I am Leopold Lenotton, of the Lenotton family, as well as representing the Inexorables. We have an important message for Senator Severium Lucas from Lycus Erin.
He kind of closes the book in front of him and just grumbles to him. And he just stands up and walks back into the precinct. A minute goes by.
I'll have you know this impatient tapping is entirely in character.
About 4 minutes go by. The old man does not return. However, someone else does step up into the area. You see another dwarven man, much younger, probably in his 50s or 60s. And he's wearing the signet of a captain of the guard. And he kind of steps forward and says, old man said there was people here to speak with the senator?
Yes, we have an important message from Lycus Erin. An important time-sensitive message.
I don't necessarily know of a Lycus Aranin, but
Senator will.
I'm sure he will. We can make contact with him. He is not here. Obviously, he's a senator, not a member of the guard. But we would be able to find him here in a short period of time, I'm sure. There's a short waiting area, and he'll kind of point around to the side. And he says, hopefully within 20 to 30 minutes we can have some kind of answer for you.
Oh,
Very well.
If he asks who we are, just say we're from the Azure Library. I guess that would make more sense.
Library. Lycus Aranin and the Azure Library. Alright, we'll make sure to put it all in the notes and the message sent. If you will, please wait.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wayne's just
What
kind
a
of
nice young man.
the glass.
Just staring at the glass.
He's just admiring all the glass.
So, along the trip down to the Vox camp, we're gonna switch gears a little bit.
Oh no.
You guys, not for long, because it'll take a long time for you guys to get down to the Vox camp. It was a half day's travel with the cart. You know, you're still probably only gonna be traveling for 4 to 5 hours. at a trot or gallop when you can. But it's still going to be a pretty lengthy trip. It'll be nearing the afternoon, if not passing it, by the time you guys get back down there. So as you guys are traveling along, I would like you guys to roll me a d10.
So first rolls of the
You're gonna have to tell me what the number is.
7. Okay, so with the 7, as you guys are traveling along, when you went to sleep, there was a bit of a storm. It did not last incredibly long. The roads are a little bit muddier. Clouds still cover the sky. It is still a very, very dreary and downcast day. The first thought that comes to your mind when looking up to the sky and just how little of the sun is peeking through is, I wonder how much being out in this weather would affect a vampire spawn. That's the first thing that comes to your mind, because you're talking about having an assault on the estate tomorrow morning. Well, if the sun's not out, we'll see how things go. And as you guys are galloping down, is there anything you guys would like to say to each other, a conversation you would like to have? Brief, but regardless, is there anything you guys would like to say to each other?
Fag. I'm just kidding.
We're just walking for like an hour straight and then...
Well, no, you're horseback riding for an hour straight before
Sorry.
you cause you attack.
Oh, my bad.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know. What do we want to talk about? This is actually going to be in character. What do we want to talk about? It's been like an hour. Silence.
I don't know. There's not much to say. I feel like people of the prime material tend to have conversation. Never been trained in that.
Man, you suck at talking too.
Well, you're not much better.
Yeah, I know.
I had this bard buddy once.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
I don't know. He was good at talking though.
God, I feel like the third wheel that Randall is right now.
What is Randall doing during this? Is he just focused on the ride?
Randall is focused on the ride. He's a little bit ahead of you guys. He knows the way significantly better. He's done it multiple times. So even though it's a pretty simple trip, he is still taking the head on this path.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, I've been on the East Coast. I can't say it's much better there than it is here, but how has out here been?
Eh?
Looks about it.
Been a lot to do, but I mean, I'm enjoying retirement, I guess.
Retired already. Yeah. We haven't had a chance to talk about that.
No, not really, have we?
We might have some time later.
Yeah, probably.
We won't have time now on this hours-long horse ride.
This really does sound like a strange brothers that haven't seen each other in
It
years.
really does.
That was good.
Just silent for another 7 hours after that.
Yep. Hey, so what have you been up to, man? Life,
Stuff.
work. Got a wife now. Oh yeah. 7-hour car drive later. All right, we're here. I'll see you tomorrow night.
All right. So
I can't wait for another 23 episodes until Lycus and Sakir get another 30-second conversation.
Another of
And
moments
that's-
alone.
And that's finally going to be when they have their character arc.
So, cutting back to the group and
Yeah, I mean, it's better than last time. The last time they were fisting each other. So.
In the face.
in the
in the face hole, okay, not the other one.
I mean,
So
there are
One
two
did
other
flank
holes.
the other one.
as we return to the group and team, it's been about 30, maybe 40 minutes. You guys know Leopold. You know the like leg shake, like the leg tapping, just
That's
tapping
exactly
the
what
heel,
he's doing.
just a constant from his heel on the ground, just constant.
Calm down, Leopold.
This is a time-sensitive limit. If it weren't time-sensitive, I would be happy to wait all day. But there could very well be lives on the line.
After,
Or wives on the line.
sorry, Lennon, what were you about to say?
No, you just have to think from the other side. A bunch of random people show up unannounced and say, there's an urgent talk. There's something urgent.
I should have let them know how life or death it could be. I mean, he gestures to the building. Everyone in here could be mustering out tomorrow morning.
I don't think it's that bad. Right?
You don't think a vampire is that bad?
No.
It's
It's
worse.
Vampire and however many spawn he's got in that mansion.
We just burn it to the ground. We don't really need what's in there.
Didn't we have an entire conversation last session about how we couldn't burn it down?
Let's do that again.
That was the first idea.
That was literally the first idea.
Yes.
Wayne still
Well,
thinks it's
we
good.
can't burn it down. But if we get enough people, maybe. Also,
You were present at that last conversation. If Lennon had suggested that, I could forgive him because he wasn't actually present for the conversation. But you were present for the conversation where we detailed in explicit detail why burning down that mansion, whilst I would love to, don't get me wrong, is an atrocious idea.
I'll be quite honest, Leopold. It was so late at night. I kind of conked out after the talk with Varys.
But yes, that's what I'm saying. You weren't there and you didn't hear why am I blanking on the NPC's name? Why Centaur explained why it wasn't a bad or why it wasn't a good idea because it wouldn't actually do that much damage to the vampire spawn.
Oh
I mean,
no,
I
I went up after Centel went up. I was there for the Centel conversation.
I thought he wasn't there for the Centaur conversation. Was there?
The only person that wasn't there was Secure.
Oh yeah.
And even then, he was there for the house burning part still.
So as you guys are arguing these points, what's your passive perception?
20.
I was gonna say yours was pretty high, wasn't it?
Passive perception and investigation are both 21.
So I know Leo's is also pretty high.
Leo's is a 19, if I'm not
18.
18.
Although,
So,
yeah, 18.
Wayne, as these two are having this conversation, and Leopold very aggressively still tapping his foot, you have locked your eyes and probably been staring at the dwarf in just this large plate armor with like blue and green hues throughout it. Seemingly a very, very heavy set of plate with just a shield and pike at his side, who's just been waiting for the conversation to die down before speaking. And as soon as it does, he says, "The senator will see you now."
Stands up very exasperated. Lead the way.
Oh, that wasn't that bad of a way.
And as you guys step out, there's actually 3 more just outside the room of a similar design with the pike and shield. And they lead you guys deeper into the precinct around a few corners. Eventually into what looks more like an interrogation room than a meeting space. And the one who beckoned you to follow him kind of stops you guys, and he walks in beforehand. And seems to lean down and speak to an older gentleman who's sitting on the other side of the table, also a dwarf. Yes, Wayne?
As he leaves us in the doorway, I just kind of lean over and whisper to Leo, "You know, he was there for about 3 minutes while you were just tapping your foot and not paying attention because you were arguing with Lennon, right? So, you could say that the delay is partially your fault."
It's your fault for not telling me. Now let's move on and stop playing.
So the guard leans down and speaks to this older man. He's got long, very long, like you don't see how long it goes from the doorway, like almost like dirty blonde hair. It's very bright for dwarven hair, surprisingly. Along with that, he has a few like senatorial patches. He's got a long cloak, which is kind of like a gray and blue with blue stripes cloak on. And he kind of nods to himself, and the guard walks back out and kind of beckons you guys inside.
Well, I see the senator. I would give him a formal bow before doing basically the exact same thing I did earlier with the cleric, holding out the Inexorables badge with my signet ring also on that hand. We're from the Inexorables, and we have a message from you, like I said.
You see he kind of leans back in his chair with absolute no, royal presence. This man is not a noble. This man is a senator. And this man very obviously doesn't really care for the bow or, the prestigious welcome or entrance. And he kind of leans back in his chair with just this ginormous pot belly and is like, so you're from the Inexorables and the Shore Sky Library, and you claim to be friends of Aaron.
Correct.
And you're talking about burning a house down.
I don't...
Well, more like an estate.
Yes. Believe
My dear friend, that's arguably worse.
Believe me, we have a very valid reason. We've been informed of a vampire who's taken up residence in an estate outside the city. And he has already turned some of the people of the... why am I blanking on the name of the group of refugees? We've already turned some people from the Vox camp into vampire spawn, and we have no belief that he intends to stop. He very well may try to turn some people of
He's already started turning some of Team.
Do we know that?
They said that there were missing people up here. There was little missing signs, weren't there, when they were coming into town? Or were those people missing?
That was at the Vox camp.
Yeah.
Verified missing people and kidnaps.
Oh.
Yeah.
I definitely thought there were some missing flyers up here too.
I honestly do not remember off the top of my head. I believe that was Vox camp.
Okay.
I don't think I remember
If I'm
either.
mistaken, then I am mistaken.
I don't remember for sure, and it's not in my notes, so that's why.
I watched it a couple of hours ago, and I don't remember that. So I caught up.
As he's leaning back and just sitting here, he's kind of looks at you inquisitively, leans forward, placing his elbows on the table. A vampire.
Yes.
And I've not spoken with Lycus Aranen in many years. I must say our families are a little estranged at this point. However, if he says that you sent, or that he sent you, and you know his name, being estranged from his family and all, then I'm assuming that you're at least worth listening to. Vampires. Do you know where? Which location? Exactly.
The Longwood Estate.
The Longwood Estate. I actually believe I remember that returning to the possession of the city a while back was purchased maybe a few months ago.
Yes, that lines up with what we were told.
Intriguing. And you say there's vampires there.
Correct.
More specifically, vampires that have escaped from Carcerity.
I do not know what that means.
Oh dear.
Likely.
A large... Think a large interdimensional prison with ancient beings and creatures not seen for thousands of years.
Sounds quite enjoyable. Quite a bit of fun. I would have had a great time in my youth. And you're saying there's a vampire here?
Correct.
Correct.
And the Inexorables, I believe I've heard of them. They've been spoken of once or twice in a Senate meeting not long ago. He pulls out a notebook and begins flipping through it. And he gets to a point and he slaps it down on the table and he says, fighting creatures from an otherworldly prison released after the Titans were released from their otherworldly prison in the Darnish continent. This is too much for me.
He's like so the
Grabs
most
a
bored
bottle of
person.
brandy under his
There's an
desk.
interdimensional prison that is releasing monsters. All right.
Taxes.
In all fairness, we're supposed to be more of an investigative team, but combat finds us.
Yes. Especially
I'm
when it comes to
sure it
vampires.
does. What is your requests of me, dear Inexorables?
Well, we would like the assistance of the Sapphire God in taking down this vampire. We've been informed that at the estate he has quite a few vampire spawns, as well as some other nasty creatures. Thankfully, we do have a way to circumvent the estate's walls, but as powerful as the Inexorables are, we aren't quite capable of taking on that vampire and 50 spawn and whatever other creatures he may have.
As you note, as powerful as we may be, he kind of gives each of you a bit of a glance, looking around, and says, I sadly, without a few weeks' preparation, do not have the ability to assign members of the Sapphire Guard to your cause. However, I have heard of some disturbing things happening in some of the Vox camps. I'm assuming these are some of the rumors.
Yes, Lycus actually sent us down here to investigate those, which is why we're here right now.
Intriguing.
Let me tell you, fighting in a prison full of vampire spawn wasn't the best time.
Yeah.
So fucking awkward. Senator Lucar kind of leans back in his chair again and says, as I said, I cannot conscript members of the guard for you. However, I can perhaps rally some of my own personal house guard for your cause. I was one of the more vocal members of the Senate in allowing the Vox Saborum to have some land south of here. In fact, it has lost me quite a bit of sway in the city. I would be remiss if I didn't help defend them in some regard, as they are so quite helpless. I could perhaps give you 20.
20 is fine. We already have some of our members going south to attempt to rally forces from the Vox. But 20 more men combined with whatever the Vox can manage, as well as one particularly strong ally of ours who's recovering down there. I believe that we can likely see it done. Though, that being said, there is always tactical use for overwhelming firepower, and I was wondering that if you could not conscript the guard, if we could, if you thought it worth our time to attempt to speak to the Maracross.
He releases a massive sigh.
If that was a bit of a faux pas, I'm sorry. I'm not particularly knowledgeable of the political situation here in Team.
It is forgiven. The Maracrofts are, if nothing else, a stingy family. In fact, I likely, with liege lords such as that of Revenan, where you're from, would likely be able to conscript some of the guard in some form of swift manner. However, the guard is not under the control of either the senators or the ruling family, and neither would the ruling family of this godforsaken city truly wish to help. The Maracrofts were opposed to the concept of the Vox. At least some of them were. Not the head of the house. Theros is a reasonable man, but the rest are greedy bootlickers.
Well, depending on how we attempt to sell it to the Maracross, if we could even get access to them.
What is your timeline?
Well,
No,
I
no.
mentioned that we had a way to bypass the walls of the estate, but that opportunity will slip by tomorrow morning. We need to attack by then at the latest.
The Maracrofts would be a waste of time.
Do you know of any other way we might be able to get members of the Sapphire Guard, or is that a lost cause entirely?
I believe to minimize any form of political or bodily casualties, that it would be best to not include the baseline of the Sapphire Guard in this assault. We are already in team have enough strains between different factions.
Speaking of the different factions, would there be anyone else who might be more pro-Vox, who might be willing to extend forces?
Maybe if you had a few days to travel south to Rivacheg, you would find much more help. However, sadly, Team, a larger city with bustling ports and shipyards, is opposed to an extensive amount of a new labor force entering in that would likely accept a lower pay. It is a unfortunate event, and I hate for politics to get involved in regards to the lives of 300,000 coming from slavery. However, it is not avoidable.
Politics ruins the day, as it always does.
Along with that point, including more of the public guard would likely draw far more attention. Drawing attention to the attack of a previously owned by the state, a state just south of the city, being attacked by a large conglomerate of the guard would bring many eyes, and answers would be expected. Those answers would not bring good news to the public.
Well, assuming that we are successful, wouldn't dealing with such a big threat be a good boon for the Markrovs and whoever's in
Depends
power?
on how many vampire spawn we find in this estate. If it is merely a few, then good. We got to it before they were able to spread. If it is many, how many live in the city? How many are in the camps? Hysteria would spread.
I'm afraid you do very well have a point. There is one last request I would have of you, and I will admit that this one is a long shot, but you wouldn't happen to have access to a large quantity of explosives, would you?
Leopold,
That feels like a question I should cut away from you guys on. He's going to look at you very inquisitively and say, I could perhaps rally a few kegs of gunpowder. Outside of that, I do not know of. Firearms are not a popular item in team.
Leopold, I thought Rikus said that it would take too long to set the powder to blow up the building.
Well, we don't need to level an entire building, just a little bit of it.
Still take that.
Regardless, I will speak with the captain of my guard, along with some of my particular stone sides, and hopefully have the 20 rallied for you by mid-morning. Make your way out into the city, possibly find some food or something, return in an hour.
And just to be clear, when he says mid-morning, he means mid-morning today?
Yes.
Okay.
No, he's gonna be late tomorrow.
Yeah. On that point, Leopold will extend a hand to shake the senators.
He's going to shake the hand, and as you guys step out the door, there is no longer the 4 guards with shields and pikes. There are only 2. They are both dwarven men. It seems a very central aspect of the Sapphire Guard. Most of them are dwarves. Even though it is still a mostly human city, it seems like there is a particular culture around dwarves being guards. You don't necessarily know what the subtext to that is, but outside of the guards entering the city and some you've seen moving around, nearly everyone in this precinct is a dwarf.
This is probably going to be Leopold, musing to himself, not necessarily projecting to the world, but That makes sense in a way. Marcroft's all dwarvish, so having dwarves be in your military might give them more of a sense of loyalty.
As you're
for
stepping
what little
outside,
they're worth.
and the two guards to either end kind of turn in and look inside this kind of interrogation room. The senator kind of looks out at the both of them. It might be best. Turok, Nelson, please escort them. Hang with them for the next hour or so. You will likely be going south with them.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to introduce your character?
And so I am a obviously dwarven male. You see very big armor for a very short man, and you see a very big shield and a very big hammer for a very short man, but he will wield it the best that he can. Very kind of light, like a whitish but darker skin, piercing brown eyes with big brown hair just basically everywhere around him, and you see that he is obviously one of the basically bodyguards to Lucar himself, and as he says, yes sir, he brings you out into the main area.
You note the other sworn shield standing beside him, who you heard the name Nelson called out to. Nelson is a little bit taller than his comrade. However, Nelson has black hair that, with his helmet off currently, is kind of tied into a braid that keeps it close to his head and not hangs below his helmet. But you would expect it to be long black hair, jet black. A full beard on his face. There is no shield that he carries, just a great sword that at an angle still almost scrapes the ground as he walks. He seems the quiet type, just standing aside as he speaks nothing, says nothing. So, as you lead them outside, do you introduce yourself?
Oh,
You don't necessarily have to. I'm just curious. You are the talker of the two. You're the
Yeah,
first
I know.
character, so.
So where will y'all be staying?
Well, at least for the next hour. I don't know. Platinum Aboleth, London? Platinum Aboleth, Wayne?
Isn't that too far? Took us 40 minutes to get here, and if we gotta be back in an hour, we won't even
Well,
make
it was
it.
40 minutes for the wait. How long was the walk?
It was almost 40 minutes to get here.
Would I know?
Okay.
Now, you wandered.
Would I know?
You
any,
would probably be able to get
I was
back there
gonna
in 20.
I was gonna say, would I know any nearby pubs that they would be able to just liege at until they need to be back?
So, there is the Red Wolf, which is right around the counter, right around the corner.
Sorry, you say Red Bull.
The Red Wolf.
Very different.
Which sells
The
Red Bull.
is a great tavern name.
Alright, it's going to be one here in the near future. So, the Red Wolf is a very, very, very popular establishment for the Sapphire Guard.
And with it being midday, there's not many people probably there.
No. I mean, the Sapphire Guard is quite a large guard. There's plenty of people on leave today or just off at this. Maybe their third shifters just got
Yeah.
off going to the pub.
But I mean, for any basic worker though,
Yeah.
it's gonna be work day right now, especially at the shipyards.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know of the Red Wolf. We could go over there, have a few midday drinks, and I would like to also understand what I'm basically being assigned to do.
That would be nice this time. Last time with Randall, we kind of just threw him in, huh?
Yes,
I'm now
Well-
very worried, but I'm.
well, don't worry. Nobody
He's
has
still
died on our
alive.
watch.
Mostly.
You scare me,
Entirely.
but I trust in
Nobody's died on our watch.
I trust in my leader to assign me to a good cause. So explain to me, though it was we're walking or when we get there. I'm
Yeah, we
fine
can do
either
the
way.
proper walking. What do you know about vampires?
But not in a good way.
I know that. I also, is it true about the garlic or is that not true?
Big suck. It's all propaganda. It makes you better for them.
I really thought bathing in garlic oil would make sense, but it never worked.
As you
I
say
tried
that,
once. It didn't work.
an almost guttural sound comes from the throat of Nelson as he opens his mouth, and those of you with higher perception, he does not have a tongue. As he and he like makes a few hand signals at you, Tarak, and pretty much says that was funny, and just continues marching along beside you.
Yeah. If you really want to fight a vampire, the only thing that I found works so far is holy water, and even then.
You know, it makes the most sense out of anything, so I'll take that any day. Well, if we need extra supplies, I can probably find one of the churches to allow me some.
I actually just had the thought that I might be able to stop by a temple. And how much holy water could you make, Wayne?
Well, it depends on how much beer we have at this pub.
No, it's one of the best
I don't
pubs
know
in
if
town.
we're
There'll
really
be plenty there.
Well, dang, I want to make a joke, but Jesus doesn't exist in this world, so it wouldn't make sense in character. I was gonna say he would do a reverse Jesus and turn alcohol into water.
That's exactly what he just mentioned.
Yeah.
That's basically exactly what he's saying he's going to do.
Okay, I was making a reference that wouldn't work. It'd be like if I don't know, made a reference to Animal Crossing or something.
As you guys walk to the Red Wolf, rather than going on and on for an extended period of time, what all do you share with him? Do you give all the details, absolutely everything? Conversation with Various, with Centol,
I would
all of the deaths and brochures that you have leading up to this, Sargoth, like...
I would give him the Cliff Notes version of this mini arc, but not mention anything about how we not necessarily made a deal with the vampire, but got all this information from the vampire, because that's admittedly very suspicious. And yeah, Turok would be within all his rights to be suspicious about that. But would the rest of the party say anything more, anything less?
Another.
Rest of the party who is present. No,
No,
you're just gonna hear all the way from the box camp, Sakir shouting, "Hey, I'm Sakir, what's your name?"
What is that pterodactyl in the distance?
So what? Basically, like we've been hunting vampires since our first adventure in Sargon, and that's eventually led us to running into information that there's a greater vampire plot, and one of the vampire cells are near Team
Yes. Well, there's
and has kidnapped one of the people we're looking for that we originally came here for. So we have to attack the vampire camp in order to
that and
like find our archer.
vampire whale hunting. But that's besides the point.
Well, I understand why I'm put on this task now. I would say that this is of great importance because obviously my senator made the Vox, which was a very unpopular decision at the time. And even I was skeptical as one of his guardsmen because A, it would put his safety in danger, which means I would actually have to work. But also B, I would not want to see this city turn into a riot because of something that people tried to travel to gain freedom, which you think this country that we live in would be very in support of. But obviously that's not everything that can happen.
Oh, I'm not great.
I think we should send them back to their country.
Their country does not exist anymore. Well, I
Their
guess
country's a shithole.
Technically,
That-
most of them, their country is either the Khatan or the Dwendala.
I was gonna say, yeah, that depends on how far back you trace the daisy chain.
I was gonna say, how far back are we going?
This goddamn.
Look, this was not intentional, guys. It's just where it went.
And who are you to talk? We're literally not from. We're the least around here than anyone. Well, Wayne. Wayne's
Well,
from
I
the
mean,
Thunder
we're
Distance.
still citizens.
Well, I thought he wasn't necessarily from
Lennon,
the distance. He's
you
traveled
are a
there,
country
spent most of the
away.
time.
They are dimensions away. Okay.
I'm the only one born and raised here.
I'm just saying, Kandura is already pretty bad.
Yeah. Kandura might be a step down from the literal apocalypse that they came from. Let's be real here.
Yeah, but you're documented. These elite boxers.
I say he's from Kandura. I'm from here.
These boxers. It's great.
Okay, we're gonna have some racial stuff in here. I'm loving it. Because most of them are orcs and goblins too, so they're already not liked races in general in civilized societies.
These green thumbs.
Wouldn't it be green skins? Why green thumbs is like people who are good at gardening. Why are you
These
racist
brown
against
dick
gardeners?
motherfuckers.
Say, why are you racist against gardeners?
Because they till the ground.
Oh, no.
The brown dirt's where they belong.
The green thumbs, the greenbacks.
Green ears.
Greenbacks are U.S. currency. I don't know what you're talking.
And then the green gith came down and
No,
it further
that's
proved our
whitebacks.
point.
No, I'm pretty sure greenbacks is an old name for U.S.
Oh.
dollars.
Wetbacks isn't.
I know wetbacks is. Yeah. people
I want to
don't
go back
it
to the
anyway.
Wayback Machine before
The
this
neck
conversation.
bands. Because they wore those.
Oh
The
god.
The collar.
Ah.
Do they still have them?
Those
or
damn
do they
collards.
all actually
They all came off the collards.
Wait, what color are the colors?
They were white.
So the white
most-
collar
The
workers.
vast majority. The white collars are coming in for the blue collar jobs.
They took our blue collar gerbs with them white collars.
Regardless, this got super
So,
meta super quick.
Thanks,
I
Jack.
cast like
So we're gonna cut. We're gonna cut to Randall and the Amadeus
Yeah,
brothers.
so it's been a couple hours of traveling.
It's been a couple more hours. You guys are
Yeah.
maybe like 10, 20 minutes away.
Alright.
Yeah, it's been a couple hours and haven't talked much.
Yeah, so, obviously some new things with you, huh?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah. Demon shit. Weird.
Oh, devil actually.
Oh. Yeah, tip for tat.
Yeah, not sure what happened. I like almost died and then. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I almost died too.
When was that?
Well, there's a war.
I was there.
Yeah. Then you weren't, but
I wasn't.
recently I almost died. Actually, that's why I had to retire.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like a fun story.
Yeah, but it's a really long story.
No, I feel bad. Do you tend to tell it when you have lots of time and you have some time with people? Seems like one of those, like, you're with a big group and just to pass the time, you know?
I don't really know if I've told that story to, like, anyone.
You want to talk about it?
I don't know.
That's okay. I didn't actually want to hear it, so.
You fucking tease.
Yeah.
You want my life story? No, I don't really want to listen to it. Okay then.
Just wondering if you want to get off your chest.
Would you guys be there for me if I was going through something? No.
No.
All you gotta really know is I almost blew up. That was kind of cool. I think Edmund's the only one who actually was there. Well, yeah, he was there. Wonder how Edmund's doing. Scrawny bitch. He lost a lot of weight.
And you have a lot of friends from your old life. I don't know who any of these people are.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you walk away from it. Yeah, you miss home?
Not a bit.
Yeah, the place.
Once I got used to it being just so bright up here,
I mean,
it's not better.
it couldn't have just been me, but Shadowfell smells, doesn't it?
It does. I've never been able to talk to anyone about that. It has a very. I can't describe it. It's like dirt, but if it wasn't full of life.
Yeah, it's like if you just sniff way too much sulfur.
Yeah. I see where you're going with this.
And a dead body.
Well, that was more around the wasteland part of the
Yeah,
Shadowfell.
I guess that's fair.
You guys hear the slowing down of Randall's trot as he comes in pace with you guys, and he says, "You all do realize that is exactly how you smell, right?
Sulfur?
Sulfur and dead bodies. Yeah. I don't think either of you have bathed in at least 2 months.
Well,
I'm
getting
pretty
blood-
sure I showered last time I was in Revenant.
You do not smell like it.
I jumped in a lake a couple of days ago.
That
You
doesn't
did.
count.
Oh, you did too.
How many dead bodies were in that lake?
I mean, we killed a few fish. Well, actually, I managed to kill them. Lennon is pretty talented with the bow, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Lennon didn't
And
use
he
a
just
bow.
goes back ahead.
What did you use, Lennon? Did you use a knife?
I used the throwing dart.
He's very good at the dart.
That's
as it turns
even
out.
cooler.
Well, I guess home finds a way to travel with you, huh? That's what happens when you live there for so long.
Hmm.
I guess we were born there too, so. You haven't been to the Shadowfell, have you?
Hell no.
So I thought.
Well, now you know what it smells like, I guess.
And I don't want to visit. I'm not one for vacations.
It wouldn't be a vacation.
Oh no, not at all.
It'd be a place where you.
You
want
haven't
to
seen me
film.
on vacation.
Boring as all get out.
I don't think I've taken a vacation where I didn't kill at least a dozen things. Most of them were sentient.
It sounds like the Feywild.
It sounds like Old Maruth.
It does sound like Old Maruth. Old Maruth, good place. Highly recommend.
Damn, some fucking lore drop from the
So much lore drop, we're not getting any of it.
NPC. We got the lore drop from the NPC before the fucking main character.
Look, it's slow burn. Trust what they're cooking.
So I don't get how Regus and Secure are some of the most awkward characters to like split off and like be alone together.
Well, it's the brothers.
It's the
Have you ever
estranged
been-
brothers.
Yeah.
Where one left the other one.
That haven't actually had the time to actually talk to each other.
This is how
They need to
brothers
go
work
through
in
their
real life.
trauma together.
Don't worry,
Yes,
we'll
that's
have like 10 straight sessions of just inter-party RP at the Festival of the Rise. I'm praying to Jesus that doesn't happen.
It'll only be 2.
So after Lyria, have you met anyone else?
No. I mean, I've been around, but like, but I know she wouldn't be too upset about it. I mean, that was part of the terms of the agreement. So.
I didn't see you much around that time. Thank you for coming back for me. I've said it once, but it's been a while.
How else were we gonna get out of that shithole? You know, things change, you know, once families happen, so. But I left a piece of me behind, and I took a piece of her with me, so. And I like tap one of my pockets, kind of open it up, and it's just a little rock with a runestone of the.
It's just a wisdom tooth.
A piece of her literal piece. That's actually what I was
No,
thinking.
it's-
It's like her finger.
It's just a rock with like the a runestone from like a family runestone. So I keep it around for good luck.
I would have thrown it away, but
Oh,
you do you.
it's a piece that I can remember by, so.
Yeah. I thought I met someone.
Oh. You weren't forced into this one, were you?
No.
Oh, okay.
But she's dead now. So.
Cool.
Missed that one.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Yes! Yes! That slapped! That was perfect!
You used it well!
That was perfect!
That's my last one for the day. I was so worried because I'm like, fuck, he's about to start talking. I gotta say it quick. As soon as you said the first one, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going.
So,
Oh, yes. Alright, sorry
Perfect.
about that.
regardless, as you guys kind of sit there in the awkward silence, a guitar begins to strum in the distance. And you guys have entered back into the Fox camp. And while winding your way through the tents, you guys are able to pretty quickly
I can mute.
get down into the region where Finch's tent is. So, as you guys are winding through, you get to Finch's tent. Dismounting, Finch is currently outside speaking with one of his white guard. The same man that you fought some of the spawn with, Rikus, that being Drakus. And they're outside of his tent having a conversation at the moment.
Right, who's that?
What?
We're with these two, right?
Yeah, you two and Randall.
Right, Tudor, and we see someone named Drakus, who I don't know. He does.
You do not know.
Right.
Yeah.
I
I don't think we ever learned his name.
You never learned his name, he did.
No, we never. Wait, did we?
He was mentioned once by name by Finch.
When we first met Finch.
Okay.
Possibly. I know Finch has mentioned him once. I'm 99% certain. Maybe I'm not 99% certain. Either way, you guys now know his name is Drakus, or at least Rikus does.
Well, Rikus, I will turn to you. Details on this one?
He helped us fight the vampire spawn.
Right. Name.
Oh, Drakus.
Drakus.
Yeah.
As
I think that's what his name was when Finch said it.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyways, are we in earshot?
You guys are not quite within earshot. However, before you enter earshot of either their conversation or them to hear yours, Drakus kind of points to you guys, and Finch kind of notes, and they seem to have ended their conversation as you guys entered in. Finch kind of waits there by the front of his tent for you guys to approach. As you do, welcome back to the camp. I hope you had a successful dealing in team.
Surprisingly, not hostile. I guess no, that's not the right word.
You'll find it.
There was no conflict.
So there was no conflict with the vampire you wished to go in. It was never quite put whether it would be a negotiation or not, but from how you just spoke, I'm assuming that was more the line of thinking.
It was more of a play his game, try to get more information on what the fuck's going on, and also, the location of Stolius, yes.
So I'm assuming this game was played to completion.
Yeah, and you're really gonna need to be filled in. The rest of my party is currently still in team, and they are negotiating with one of the senators there for some assistance from the Sapphire Guard.
Do you happen to know which?
Lucar.
Savorium Luca. That is quite the appropriate choice for this occasion.
Yeah, that's what Lycus Aeronins recommended, so.
Alright. Well, hopefully they find success. Let's step into my tent before we discuss any further details.
Yes, I don't think this is a conversation for looks around the camp.
Public
Prying
spaces.
ears. Yeah.
So, led into the tent, around the table. You guys, as you enter, you see packs, no longer in the stockade attached, but instead seemingly asleep on a cot.
How's he looking?
He is quite under the weather currently. There's certain aspects to delving deeply into one's mind that put them a bit out of sorts for a short period of time. I was able to gather a little bit more information, but sadly not as much as I wished. Glimpses of memories more than anything else.
Has he lashed out?
No.
Good.
Well, I hope he gets to feeling better soon, because we're going to need him tomorrow morning.
That is questionable on whether that will happen. Not due to his health, but due to whether we will release him.
Well, we're actually going to need a lot of people tomorrow morning. Well, where do we start? I don't know. Secure? Oh, that's right. You stepped out for like 90% of the conversation.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know what Secure would know to say.
Do I really have to go through this? It's
How about this? Give me cliff notes and a couple particular mentions.
Can
Are
do a
you
roll?
going to be
Can you do a roll?
100% true?
Would you like to? Would you like to phone a friend?
To explain,
Phone a friend.
explaining
We can do that with the
everything.
rock.
Rikus is more than able to explain everything. I was more curious on if there is any particular piece of information you will not divulge.
You have to remember, Randall was there.
For the conversation with Varys, not with Sentinel.
This is true.
Dude, I can't even remember half the conversation with Sentinel.
Because you guys fiddle-dicked around with this man for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I've never heard the phrase fiddle-dicked before.
And now you have.
Would you like to phone a friend? We
I have
have
a decent
multiple
note of
people
the
in this group, in this call, that are more than
Can you do a
capable
roll?
of reminding
Can we
you.
do
Yeah,
can we do a
walkie-talkie us? I presume it provided we aren't.
If you are going to be
his lives
100% completely honest, hide no details, then we don't have to talk about this.
We probably would have, on the way there, come to an agreement, whether with these people or just between the two of us, of details we would want to hide. If there are none that we hide at the end of this, so be it. But we probably would have had this conversation. Yes?
I don't think there were any details we needed to hide.
In that case?
Any details we need to hide, Randall would have been there for. So
Then the whole truth,
And nothing but.
nothing but.
So,
Except for the plungers on my head part. We don't go into that.
Sorry, I
Randall wasn't there for that either. So.
I would give a big long spiel, but I'm sick right now, and I just my brain's like fucking fried.
It's alright.
That's
I had multiple
all
occasions
the
in
time.
like 2 sessions where when I was sick, I just had no clue what was going on. And I'm the DM. Anyway,
Oh no.
going through and listing out most of the conversation all of the conversation points with full honesty, Finch kind of sinks farther and farther into the chair as it continues. Eventually getting to the point where he says, it would have been grand if I had summoned Ceramus before such a conversation, as he is going to need to be filled in on all of that as well.
Sweet, we get to say it again, brother.
And this time, I don't want to have to interrupt you before you start talking about
That
before
is
that
all
plunge or
right.
something.
I have been taking mental notes.
Oh wait,
Been
did
taking
I get
mental
like
health
the
medication.
delved into everything, including like?
I think
Said 100%.
as Rikus, you
I
would
have
start
done
talking
a cliff
about.
note on it. Like I would have just been like, yeah, then I found out my brother's gay, and then.
And I
Not
found out
relevant,
Sentinel's
not
sexually
true.
attracted to my brother.
He wants to use a plunger.
Wants to use a plunger.
The old unicorn is what it's called.
The old The backwards unicorn.
Reverse unicorn.
Reverse unicorn. My God.
The wooden unicorn.
I'm trying to think of some other phrase for this. regardless. So he's going to say, I certainly believe we'll be able to rally some forces for this. However, we'll obviously have to keep quite a few here. I could maybe give you a few members of my Pallid Guard, along with whatever Ceramus can spare of the Kravas Guild.
We'll be going up against a extremely powerful foe, so obviously anything you can spare. Is that a sticker?
Someone from Broken Concords must have brought a sticker in on their shoes and wiped it off on the carpet.
That must have been me or Claire.
You
It was Claire.
motherfuckers.
It was Claire.
Probably.
It was Claire.
That motherfucker. I don't know how to words.
What, dude?
Well, you can stop by after this.
This next book club, you fucking give me a sticker.
I guess do a book club?
They
They
do.
do. So Finch, after a period of time, he's going to call Ceramus and Katarina and some other members of the Kravas Guild and Dracus and some other members of the Pallid Guard.
Bless him.
Thank you. He's going to kind of, after he's sent out all of these summons, kind of sit back and say, well, I believe it would be best if I also divulged what I learned from Pax's mind. Sadly, I was not able to learn an incredible amount. He was beaten and brutalized for a few days before his mind was weak enough to be overtaken, is what it seems. During his time in what we now know as the Longwood Estate, I'm assuming one of the basements, some form of dungeon, he did see Intrati. Intrati was alive. I cannot place when this memory happened. Likely 3 or so days ago, maybe less. He was held, Intrati was held aloft by chains with multiple incisions and needles placed in multiple parts of his body with seeming tubes going to different, I could not tell if they were machines or just buckets or what was going on, but there was a red purple liquid dripping from his side as an absolute behemoth of a man was physically beating him.
I think that might be our target.
He also attempted to cast some form of spell. Again, very large man, incredibly imposing. Pax is terrified of this man. There seems to be an innate fear that was either placed within him or developed after a series of beatings or some form of natural innate magical presence. I can try to suppress it. However, it will likely still bubble up in some ways. As you note that that's mentioned, Pax, who is still asleep, mind you, seems to like subconsciously wrap himself into a ball, going back into the fetal possession on the cot.
Pax is scared of it. Either this thing really is a high amount of control over someone's mind, or it deserves to be feared this much. Both are equally terrible for our party.
Along with that, Pax caught a slight glimpse of some form of 8-legged beast with a extensively long tail ending in a 7-pointed fork. Along with that, it turned invisible soon after. Its face flattened in, but jaw seemingly opened up past where its ears are.
I believe that would be
A devourer? Can I roll it for...
one
A
of the
specific
hellhounds,
type of hound was mentioned by Centhole
which we told him about.
that you would know about secondhand.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, wait, no. They told us about some kind of hound that does not seem similar to something else I know about. And I know you were going Displacer Beast. No, that is not what this is.
That or Devourer because of the mouth, but.
So as more and more people pile in, you note after about an hour of waiting, Pax still asleep off into the corner, seemingly very much needing the rest. After a short period of time, a few members of the Pallid Guard, that being the white guard that is like Finch's personal guard, along with nearly 35 members of the Kravas Guild. One person who immediately clocks your interest as he enters in is seemingly a mountain dwarf with a rifle longer than him strapped upon his back.
We're gonna win.
We're so back!
We're so back.
We're so back! We were down for the count, but we're so
The
back!
man, the myth, the legend.
The one session I come back, he's back, baby.
Alright, your
Go.
position knows what sex is.
The only man in the position. And he walks in, you know, with his usual gait and strut. And there's, you know, maybe a dozen members of the Kravas Guild. And he kind of steps over them, making a joke, pulls out a big old, like, almost a keg from his side pouch, just like a gallon, and just drinks some and then puts it back, and just begins conversating with them.
That's my boy.
He's got a series of firearms set around him.
I nudge Sakir and go, I like this guy.
You just hear.
Don't give me DMC.
Okay, that's
Oh yeah. Okay.
For the one person in this party that has no context.
Oh no!
Here's Wonderwall.
You will learn one day, Padawan. It's an NPC from the previous campaign.
Alright.
He began the
Fuck
trend.
shit up.
Yeah.
You should.
He began the trend of go to NPCs.
He did not begin the trend, but he is the most, like, at the end of the campaign, the most recent addition of goated NPCs. So as he steps in and begins conversing with others,
Dude, I don't think the dude ever missed a shot.
slowly more and more members of the Kravas Guild pile in.
Fucking replace the barrel. Alright, sorry. Fucking rebuilds the barrel, puts it back in. Fuck yeah.
It reminds me of the Russian dude, the YouTube video of the Russian dude that like disassembles and reassembles an AK in like under a minute.
Dude. So
Russia's weakest.
Finch, obviously not, considering what's actively happening right now.
Fair point. Okay.
Either way, so as the time continues, about 50 people are packed into Finch's tent, which it is quite a large tent. Around the time everyone is gathered, Finch begins a debrief, effectively giving the same information you guys did. He does note to you guys at the very beginning of, like, these people are where we got the information. They are representatives of the same organization Pax was. Yes, he's okay now. He's no longer going to kill you guys, I swear. Going along all this other stuff, mentioning that the original member of the Inexorables that came to negotiate with the Vox is likely in the basement of this. He notes specifically that Intrati ate from his table and gained guest right, which, while a popular thing in the Caladrian Empire, was not necessarily an anticipated aspect of this to you guys. Pax kind of refuted his guest right when he killed a member of the Vox. But Intrati was taken, and they're very serious about this. They ate from the bread and drank the wine from Finch's table. Intrati should be under their protection, and if it is true that he is here, it's something they're willing to fight for. Along with the fact that, hey, they've been stealing a whole bunch of our vagabond civilians, effectively. And there's probably going to be a lot of orcish spawn in this place. However, they do prefer Azamon. I will note that, as we discovered last session.
Yeah.
So, as this continues along, both of you guys, standing closer to Pax, You notice that he kind of uncurls from the ball and seems to begin to rouse.
Kind of quietly, since the meeting's still going on, I'm just gonna kind of, as he sat up.
Yes.
Okay.
When he sits up,
I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder and go, "Morning, bud."
as he sits up, sitting up, his head is above yours.
Well, I believe it. I put my hand on his shoulder and go, "Morning, bud."
What was mentioned a few sessions ago of Finch mentioning his size, he is even bigger. He's pushing like 13 feet now, you would guess. You have no clue why this is happening. It's very strange. But as he sits up, he almost seems to notice that he's looking down even more so than usual. Because he went from like an 8 to 9 feet to like 10 to 11 to now 13. And as he's looking down, he kind of wraps the massive cloth blanket that was over him around himself, looks under his cot and sees his blade, and kind of picks it up and sets it beside himself and says, "Good morning, afternoon, what?"
No, it's still morning.
"Good morning, Rikus Sakir. Where exactly am I?"
You are in Finch's tent. Do you remember Finch? He's been with you for the past few days.
I remember meeting him. Yes, alright. My apologies. I hope I did not cause too much trouble.
You did.
That's not the answer to that rhetorical question, Sakir. You really need to work on your bedside manners.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Take it easy. You just woke up and killed like 30 people.
Hold on.
And it's not your fault.
To make it clear, he did not kill 30 people.
How many was 15, 12?
He maybe killed a few. Like a handful. 5 to 6.
Most of them are just injured.
The event.
The incident.
Retcon,
This-
I saw it. 5 people.
The scorchings were not him. That was the sun.
Right.
Because they were all spawn.
Right.
No, not all of the deaths in that incident were related to him.
Vampire.
Related, but actively done. You are correct.
Have you found Intrati?
We know where he is.
Good. When do we leave?
We're hoping for tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning. We are currently in a meeting right now where they are going over all of the details.
You see him immediately stand and walk to the edge of the crowd. And just
Question.
listen in.
How tall is this tent?
This tent is probably close to 20 feet. Like,
Okay.
it's a grand pavilion of a tent.
I was wondering if he was just going to be like scraping the ceiling.
You just hear canvas rolling across these golden hair.
Is he gonna go around?
Just
No,
so-
he goes right
he's just
over.
walking
He goes right
around.
over.
There's someone outside. It looks like a shark above the water.
Yo, that tent's getting erect, bro. Anyways, so
Large man in the tent, or is Finch just happy to see?
Good one,
half
Zach.
the people did not.
That was
hear
a good one,
was a
Zach.
good
I
one.
heard it.
That was a good one. Most of us
Alright.
heard that. So as the meeting continues, it does not take long for it to end. Everyone kind of begins to disperse and begin to prepare their day packs to effectively make the trip. As within a few hours, the group is going to leave. It seems that the tentative plan is to camp out an hour or two away and try and send scouts to figure out what exactly the place looks like.
Cool. I'm gonna kind of during all the pull side Sakir and be like, is it just me or
He's
has-
taller.
Well, yes, I know that.
I hope. You're a detective.
Or I got shorter. I mean, it's possible.
Yes, and everyone else. Go on.
Did he lose more memories? I mean, we've already spoken with him since his rescue.
That might just be a byproduct of, I don't know.
All the head shenanigans that Finch did. And yeah, I guess all the days and everything would be blurred to him.
Yeah, they would blur together. He wouldn't know what he had done and what had dreamt.
I guess it's fair.
Trust me, his head is all kinds of places. It'll be a few days before he'll have any kind of consistency, and even then, I wouldn't trust what he has to say for about a week, as far as memories go.
You still thinking we're gonna be able to take him along?
He's stubborn.
He'll probably go anyways, since Trotty's involved.
Exactly. I've been watching the dwarf with a gun. My mind is changing about him. It is a bit much, but I think a bit much is kind of what we need.
As you say that and the meeting begins to end, he immediately notes in on Pax and begins walking your way.
And we get to meet him.
Stepping up with the 6 different visible firearms hanging off different sheaths of his body. As he steps up, all right. I hear you're Pax. I hear you're the 2 dipshits who got a lot of the information. My name's Ed.
Nice to meet you. I'm Sakir. This is Rikus.
What's up, Ed?
How we doing,
I
Rikus?
put my hand up.
I see you got some nice pieces. Not quite as many as I.
Oh, I've got a few more back with my steed, baby, but that's all the way back in Revedan, unfortunately. You, however, those are some magnificent pieces.
Yes, they are. I'm here to talk to the big guy. And he kind of steps over and he says, literally like coming up to just above his knees. Maybe mid-thigh.
Are you saying that we are like at his hip?
13 feet.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, we're at like
His legs
are the
are
big guy around
nearly
his
as tall.
You don't even
like
need to
his,
get on your knees, dude. You can stand up.
Oh my! Oh my!
Yes.
2 questions. One, I remember we got Pax's sword, but did we ever get his armor?
No. Because you found him naked in the forest.
Yeah. Second thing,
Fuck's his arm.
I don't think his sword is right here, but has his sword changed size at all?
No, it is not.
So his great sword is now a sword.
And his great sword turned into a long sword. Soon it's going to be a short sword.
It's a toothpick.
He could probably wield great swords and
Probably
No, I haven't even
whispering to you while
disadvantaged.
he's talking with Pax. So I'd be like, so, we need this man to meet Leopold. Up until he talks, we're gonna have to give Leopold some white pants while they're conversating. If you know what I mean.
I'm sure you think he'd look great in white pants, but yes, I agree.
I was certain you were moving past that, but you're not gonna drop that for a while, are you?
You hear from the conversation just aside, all right, you've got to sit down. I can't keep, my neck is going to... Continue.
It's like moving back. So. And we don't have a horse for him either. Yeah, it's gonna be quite a journey. I'm sorry.
I don't know if there would be a horse that could carry him at this moment.
I don't think there'd be a horse that could carry him at this point.
No, the mental link between lovers is great.
At this moment, we're contact Guardian telling them.
Yeah.
Leopold is like.
Speaking of, they're like 2 hours ahead of you guys. So about what time do you think you would be messaging? Would you wait until you get with the entirety of the Sapphire Guard, or the Sapphire Stone Sides that'll be attending with you, and say, hey, we got our troop, we're heading XYZ, or would you brief them beforehand?
Probably. Makes sense.
give him a small brief.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I mean, and I guess after the first one, they'd probably be still on the road.
Yeah, they would still be on the road when you guys first contacted them.
Yeah, and then we'll give them a larger status to pick them up.
All right. So, you guys here, and it will have been included in the meeting, and I assume it would be given to Finch's information as well, that members of the House Guard of the Senator Lucar will also be joining in this incursion.
Sounds Gucci. I don't think there's anything else we need to do here, right?
Other than listening on this conversation with the dwarf, Pax, I
As you guys look over, you note that Ed has stood on a chair as he's looking across, and he is still looking up just a little bit.
Get this man a chair.
Get this man a bigger chair.
Would you like me to grab
Every
you a box?
time we look over, he's just stacked another thing.
He's a chair leading up to 2 boxes.
guess. Has four Webster's dictionaries, the originals.
He seems to be speaking in a very hushed tone. Something to the effect of, "Oi, mate, hope you're going to be joining us, but I will say, you're looking mighty rough. You're big, but you're looking rough." And he pulls out like an amulet and a ring, and he hands them to Pax, and he says, "They should resize to your size. If not, you can wear that one as a cock ring. I know it's that skinny."
Sakir should be like, I've seen this
I'm
man.
so glad he's back, dude.
He's not wrong.
No
Either
lies
way.
detected.
If we do come across this guy, I'm gonna make sure I'm with you, alright? And Pax almost seems like bashful a little bit.
This is Sundere.
Rather than his normal, extremely
So
confident
are we gonna start
persona,
shipping those two?
why are we just shipping male on
I mean,
male?
one is only getting bigger and one's only getting shorter by comparison.
Look,
Um,
if you want us to do more straight ships, introduce more female NPCs, what can I tell you?
We've got like 4 or 5. We just haven't
It's not
spent
enough.
a ton of time with them yet. We will.
And all those
eventually.
females, right?
I think it's a bad idea.
all except for Onra Sakura when you met her in the stairwell.
What was that one?
The one we
We'll
met in the
talk about it
stairwell.
later.
Was that
Either
the
way.
wizard remember you?
Yes, that was the wizard.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
So, Ed actually like steps down and leans in and whispers something to Pax before letting him go and walking off, seemingly to gather the rest of his gear.
You mean climbing down the massive pile of books and boxes?
Yeah, there's
He
just,
just turns
there's just
around.
a hoarder's pile that's just stacked 5 feet tall.
He just turns around and slides down it.
He
It's like
built
a
a whole
children-
playground.
children's slide.
He's standing on the top of a playground like a 5-year-old, just straddling the 2 tallest boards. I am the king. And he just
creeping on a
goes
chair
down
at
the
the
slide.
top. It's
No,
just
we
barely.
No,
Maybe
this was
to
the
get
safe
at a
spot.
time.
This was the safe spot. I'm not it here.
You just need, like Editoric
See-
on somebody's shoulders, still looking up the backs.
So as Ed leaves, Pax kind of nods to himself and looks at this ring and amulet that he's just been given. And he's
Unzips.
sighs.
Hold on. In combat, what's gonna happen is that Editoric is gonna end up climbing Pax like this is Shadow of the Colossus, and he's just gonna shoot from the top of Pax's shoulders.
It's Rocket Raccoon and Groot, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my
Perfect.
God.
So as Ed has left, Pax seems to like sit back on his cot and look down at this amulet and ring and seemingly begin to meditate as though he is attuning them.
I know you said cot, but from the audio, it sounded like something else.
I made
He
the
sat
exact
back on
comment.
his cock.
I made the
Yes,
exact
his
same
cock is
comment.
large enough that it wraps back around and he can sit on it.
Nice.
He's a grower and a shower.
That's somebody's fetish. Oh, ho, ho.
I'm sure it is, sadly. I'm sure it is. Either way, we are going to return to the Red Wolf.
Return to monkey.
Return to Monkey. So, as you guys have kind of discussed and caught your new companions up on what's going on, the hour has passed. You guys return to the precinct, and there is a sect of 18 members of the Sapphire Stone Sides. Seemingly one who is a little bit taller. His lapel is a little bit more grand, and he has like a one-shoulder cloak that is draped over that just goes down a few feet off of his shoulder, and it's this like bright blue. And as you guys approach, the senator is actually there, standing with the rest of the group, seemingly waiting for you guys. As you guys approach, he says, well,
I don't know why this keeps dropping.
yeah, you are dropping. That's like the 5th or 6th time.
I know.
It's like this too. Like how? Yeah, that is weird.
Somehow I think it got flipped up like this, and I don't know how.
What's happening?
I keep dropping things because I have butterfingers, or like butter pockets.
He's got
butter in his pockets.
Yes, I have an entire stick of butter in my pocket.
He just got
Pocket? Prison wallet. The senator is gonna kind of wave to the troops, and he looks at the captain particularly. Jaharius, you are under their watch for the next 24 hours. He kind of nods to you. I have other business to attend to. Jaharis. Captain Jaharis. Yes.
Oh, I think you said Jahavius.
Did I not?
Jehovah.
What did I say?
You said
You said the word.
I cooked it in right then and there. So I'm gonna be honest. I do not remember what I said.
Jaharius.
Nate, what did you say?
Jahavius.
I heard Jaharius.
I heard Harius.
Jaharis.
Pretty sure it was an R.
Jaharis.
Jaharius.
Jaharius?
Captain
Yes.
Jaharius.
Okay.
Jaharius it is.
That's what we're going with. Whether the recording says it or not, Captain Jaharius.
We'll do it live.
Frick it, we'll do it live. So, as the captain steps up, he nods to both Nelson and Tarak. It will be an honor to serve with you again.
It'll be an honor to serve with you too, sir.
And you guys begin to march. They do not have any horses, nor any carriages or mounts or anything of the sort. Well, some of them do. But at this point, they're all in step marching out of the city with you guys, as you're the ones with the general location.
On to the general location of the old estate then.
So, the question with the Sapphire Group, are you guys marching south of the estate to try and set up a camp before the Vox get there as your central location? Or are you going to camp on the north side and try and have two different groups scouting this?
I mean, it makes sense to have one group.
Oh no, I think splitting the party works out pretty well.
Split it a second time.
Hasn't gone too bad for us.
So, now that you have
And
your
we haven't been
troops,
punished until we have been.
what message do you send to the group in the Vox camp?
Probably just tell them, obviously we mentioned we got the 20 guards, give them like a rough location of our camp and tell them that we're going to wait for them to get here. I mean, I guess we may as well do some preliminary scouting. Well, hold on. Would there be any vampire spawn active this time of day?
Likely not. However, as I said before, it is incredibly downcast and dreary in the area of Team. So, there's a possibility that they would be able to be outside at least a little bit more,
Yeah.
as it's direct
so
sunlight.
we planned to set up a camp, but they've already set up a camp.
They're multiple hours ahead of you, because not only are they only an hour and a half to 2 hours from the estate, but they didn't have a 4 to 5 hour trip before even having a meeting.
Yeah, this is fair.
Yeah.
By the time you guys were halfway there, they had already met with the senator.
Yeah.
So, what we want to do any sort of preliminary scouting?
More of the question was, are you guys going to march wide and set up a camp south in one of the more forested areas, south of Team, semi-close to the estate, so that it can be like, okay, this is where we're setting up our camp.
I think that makes sense. One central location.
Alright, will do. So, with that, flipping back to the members of the Vox, within an hour, all of the members of the Kravas Guild, along with the few members of the Pallet Guard, and whatever other random adventurer is willing to come along, they all ready themselves, get their packs ready, and about the time that you are sent the message that a camp has been set up and preliminary scouting is about to begin, you guys are leaving the Vox camp.
Well, Finch, we have a location for camp, so it seems that they have the other half of my party has succeeded in gaining some help from the Sapphire Guard, so we will be rendezvousing with them south of Team.
That is good news. I am glad the Senator Lucar was able to see the wisdom in helping in this. I certainly hope he did send his own house guard in this occasion. Regardless, I wish you luck on your ventures. I sadly must stay in the camp. There are some decisions to be made and some things that absolutely must occur this afternoon and evening. While I could possibly teleport there, I trust Ceramis to take care of this. And Ceramis, his Kalishtar self, kind of steps beside him, kind of nodding to you, Rikus, with a bit of a smirk on his face, and is like, yes, I'm quite looking forward to working with you again, Rikus.
Which one's Ceramis again?
Ceramis was the other dark-skinned,
please.
elf-like looking character who you kind of had a investigative dick measuring contest with.
We fought with him in the
Oh wait, yeah,
blizzard.
he's the head of the
He's the head of the Kravas Guild.
Kravas Guild.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thomas, please.
yeah, sorry, that was out of character, but in character.
No,
No.
in character,
No.
Rikus is
Why
like,
you
who's
again?
this motherfucker again?
Who is this man?
I'll have you know, my dick is big.
I can
We
sit on
measured.
it.
I can sit on it.
Help this man.
Do you have a response?
Oh, sorry.
I'll gesture. If he's not facing me and you are, I'm gonna make a down boy gesture.
I'm just gonna be like,
1.4.
well, are we going
Alright, Thomas, yes.
So anyway, here's Wonderwall.
That was
You're
better.
closer.
You're getting
No,
there.
no.
You're getting there. You're getting there.
Third time's the charm.
Oh boy.
You get 5 tries. According to Zach.
Well, Zach gonna play.
I will have you know you'll probably be sick of me by the end of this.
Katerina kind of steps up beside Ceramis and she says, "Oh dear, he already is, but that'll be alright. Killing some vampires will get him over it. Anyway, we should likely get on the road. You say they've already set up camp with the sapphire stone sides, yes?
Yep.
Well, we better get on the move. We are mounted though, so we will make faster time than them.
Oh yeah. You're telling me that he talks about me that much already?
He's mentioned you once, which is more than he's mentioned anyone else in the last few months.
I'm honored.
Staring off into the distance, I'm honored. So,
Rivals to lovers.
Are we?
there's just a whole bunch of homosexual relationships developing. Everyone but Wayne. Everyone but Wayne.
Just add more.
Who has tried to
Well, he
romance
has, like,
him? Is the real question.
All the MILFs. I guess that one's not homosexual.
He has the bugbear.
He does, technically, you do ride the bugbear a lot.
Technically.
That's not the penance.
No,
system.
no.
The best
He's a
type of-
priest. We all know they like kids.
Oh, you're right.
So, as the Vox takes off and begins their trip, right?
I could easily go do roleplay for the next hour, but
Of course you could.
no.
But we're
okay.
trying to actually do something this session, which we have gotten a little bit done, but still.
Do
I was gonna start
Have
small
we
talk.
done?
I was gonna start small talk with the gal. What's her name?
Katarina.
Katarina.
Okay.
Is Katarina
Can't
his
remember.
wife?
You guys don't know.
I actually do have her name in my notes. Wow.
I'm so impressed.
Hey, yo.
She's one of the 5 female NPCs that we have.
Yes.
Claire
Of course
looks at
I
his
have
notes.
the name
Who
in
the
there.
fuck is Katarina?
Katarina's the one who traveled with the
our
group
group.
to go find Pax. My lord, he's huge.
Come on.
I almost got a spit take.
Son of a bitch. You almost had me.
Jeez, you got the
So,
breads.
we'll
yeah,
merit
I
this.
can
You wanted to start a bit of small talk with Katarina. We'll do this for a short period of time, and then we'll move back to the Sapphire group.
Well, Katarina, how have you been holding up since?
There has been an excessive amount of conversation of vampires and dead members of the Vox. I've been holding, but I didn't sleep much last night.
I don't sleep much, anyways. But
You look it.
Damn.
thank you.
Randall, can you tell me how erotic was the conversation with the vampire? I understand they are quite sexual beings. And Randall kind of smirks and then just rides ahead.
I'm gonna look at Sakir and be like, the vampire lord or one of his underlings, because that was also really sexual.
What is it with men and just turning every social interaction into a homoerotic play sphere?
You know, when you
That was better than any Wonderwall could ever be.
when you start that, and when you have Harlequins added to the mix, I mean, things can get a little weird.
I'm sure.
I'm gonna look at Sakir and be like putting him.
Do it. We can't even finish.
Like one's got the hots for my brother here, and
Oh dear.
putting a blood.
Finish the fight, soldier.
Went into quite.
Dang. Thomas.
Went into quite a lot of detail. And I like to imagine Rikus is actually just like can't hold himself together. Went into quite a lot of detail about.
Taking a plunger to the back of his bald skull.
Oh, have you thought about it too?
She laughs to herself and says, "No, that's called the Concordian Soufflé."
I didn't come up with that. What the fuck?
I was gonna say that's
fucking
what? You did
what?
The other guy.
I was gonna think the butt plunge, but that's way better. I had that cooking for an hour.
So you have heard of this?
It is not an uncommon practice between the pirates of the Concord. Or privateers, as they prefer to be called nowadays. Hair is often lost to a variety of seaside or coastal diseases, so there has to be some way to...
Is she making all this up?
plunge the jive.
I actually want to know, since I'm from that area. Would I know if this is?
Would Sakir know of any sexual acts?
She says this is a
Shall
fairly
we-
common thing.
She
I
knows
love
that was
the
common.
privateers.
Shall we consult the chart that was also graciously posted in memes
Yeah.
earlier?
Does not know what sex is, so.
Sakir does not know what
According
sex
to
is,
Leopold.
nor does he have any sex.
That's true.
Go ahead Secure, if you would so wish.
I'm saying, that's what
Roll
makes your
me
sexual
a
tension
history
so good.
check.
You don't know what's
At
going on.
disadvantage.
Absolutely, I'll take. Alright, that's a 13, and then a 19.
A 1.
I was
Plus
hoping for it.
6.
Plus 6. So it's
Does this have to
19.
do with FIFA? Never mind.
Once she mentioned it, it does sound somewhat familiar. You never knew exactly what it was, but you've heard people joke about the Concordian Soufflé.
To you.
I
Not
can't
to you.
wait to bring it up on Saturday. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Are there any bald characters?
Come back next
Oh,
Saturday.
Come
are
back
there
this
any?
Saturday.
Are there any bald characters? I don't think there are.
Shave a character, make them forcibly bald.
Oh my
Give
gosh,
them the Concordian
you gotta just
Soufflé.
have someone who's like a bald spot on the back of their head as if they had purposely shaved it.
I don't have. My character doesn't do that.
So,
No, wait, fuck. No, wait, no, I have hair. Never mind.
yes, you do. I was gonna say
I was a little worried. for a
all
second.
members of the Broken Conqueror campaign have hair. Regardless, moving on from this conversation, it was funny, but I didn't want it to go on that long.
Sorry.
Secure just kind of looked more and more miserable, looked
Hold
over
on,
at the
I'm
two of
saying-
you, and it just kind of went ahead.
Right.
I'll
Yeah,
leave
what
you
was
to
the
it.
main hunter's name?
Craven? Craven Sarmus?
Yeah, Craven. He's not bald, is he?
No, he is not. He has very long flowing.
Ah, so he doesn't
Bright
get the
white hair.
Concordian Soufflé. Dang.
No, he cannot have the Concordian Soufflé done to
You can give it though.
it. He can give it.
You can
Well,
just
yeah,
grab
but Katarina
onto it. He
doesn't
doesn't
have-
need a plunger.
Yeah. So, man, the Concordian Soufflé is wild. I'm sorry, guys.
That's the best creative decision you've made all time.
Is it?
That's on par
Well,
with Devil's
is it
Demon.
better or worse than Gislin?
Is it better or worse than? That's fair. Is it gonna be like every 10 sessions there's an immensely creative sexual joke that occurs from my side of the table that just becomes a part of this campaign?
Becomes a part of this campaign.
Oh my
That's
god.
fortunate.
You
Yeah.
created the drug list. It's now time for the sex name list.
The Alaskan Snow
Sexual
Dragon.
positions. Go.
The Bulgarian Gas Mask. Do not look these up. Look them up. They're on Urban Dictionary. They're hilarious. Anyway,
No, you have to use.
No, we need like a.
those, but with these names.
Exactly.
Yeah, of
exactly.
course.
You need to like create some random like a button for a random page on Urban Dictionary, and that's just gonna be what it's
The
called.
Jizzy Gangbang.
no, that's terrible. Anyway, so we're actually just gonna go ahead and skip to the Sapphire group. Believe it or not, a whole bunch of dwarves in heavy armor aren't really stealthy.
Oh god.
So scout work isn't much of an option unless you guys are the ones doing it.
I volunteer.
Since
Fortunately,
you asked,
stealthiest warrior.
do I have to stealth insult? I'm not sure if
I
I
have
insult,
a
but I do
plus
have a
zero.
plus 4.
Okay.
Disadvantage.
It's not negative.
How stealthy are you?
Wait, we're
He is
here
not
yet.
there.
5.
Oh,
And I'm
right,
not
you're not there. Fine.
I have
I
a
mean,
plus
you
10.
could talk to the resident
You live in
monk
Wayne.
of the group.
I literally have a plus 10, but unfortunately.
Ironically, the monk isn't the stealthiest person on the team.
Well, how
Gotta
stealthy
plus
are
4.
you? How stealthy are you, Lyndon?
Plus 4.
Same here. Yeah. We may as well just wait for the rest. We're not likely to get any good scouting done. Well, I say that, that's a lie. Hold on. No.
I mean, worst case scenario, one of us gets captured and, you know.
No, I was wondering if we could somehow potentially, like, get into contact with Central, but I don't know if that would quite work out.
No. I mean, he said he gave us very specific times, I think.
Yeah.
I think we should just let him stick to those.
Instead, I think we should wait and have the rest of the session be RP between the four of us.
Nah.
So, as you guys have decided to wait, we will wait. And skip ahead until the rest of the Vox camp comes in.
Our precious RP time.
Do you want some RP time with
It's not
your
like
new
we
guest
actually
character?
Do
get
it!
this
Do the
campaign
RP
done.
with the new guest character.
Nelson.
He's doing gang signs.
Naruto Andrews.
Fucking weeb.
So as camp has been set, if we were going to do some RP with this Sapphire group, as the camp has been set and laid out, a lot of very official, very pretty tents have been set up. They're all dark. They definitely blend in with the surroundings. If you were from afar, you probably wouldn't be able to see them very well.
Yeah.
Very pointedly made that way. As the time continues, Nelson and Tarok, you guys are protectors, and you guys were effectively sent as the protectors, personal bodyguards, air quotes, side-by-side companions of this new group. So you've been at their hip the entire time. They've been benefiting
my
from...
one direct message from the big guy was protect them.
Yeah.
So I've been just literally next to them the whole time.
Yeah. And those of you who've been traveling with him, when you're very close to him, there's almost an innate sense of confidence. There's a stronger setting, like, I could take anything on. And you definitely feel more protected with them beside you. They are, while short in stature, big in personality. They got aura, one would say.
No.
So, as you have probably sent a message to the rest of the party with the Vox, like, yeah, we're about an hour and a half out, more than likely. We'll see you soon. Giving the last little lowdown on both sides. More than likely, you have now been told that there is an actual act where one takes a plunger to the back of a bald man's head. So you have that information now.
I'm gonna have to grow up my hair as a character now, just so that I can avoid this joke.
So
No.
It's going to follow you the rest of the campaign.
for everybody who is currently in the, it was what, Stone's Sword, something along those lines. What was this like house guard called?
The Stone Sides.
Stone Sides, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So everybody's in the Stone Side camp. What do you imagine your characters are doing to pass the time? Because I imagine Leo is probably cleaning and working with his guns.
For me, personally, the one I would imagine being the weakest of the group would be Linen. So I'm always by Linen's side.
And Nelson, you and Nelson keep eye contact and will make signals to each other every once in a while, but he stays closer to Wayne.
Damn, dude.
We trust Leopold with the gun because he has a ranged weapon, so we don't have to worry about. We can get over to him in time if he's firing a weapon.
Yeah.
We won't know they're in combat until we're right next to them.
Yeah.
Lily doesn't know he's in combat most of the time.
As to why I'm there.
So, what is Linen doing with is Tarak?
Tarok.
Next to him.
Linen kind of understanding that, is kind of gonna get a bit serious. He's like, maybe I should prepare something. So nobody's like gone on Scott himself, and it's like kind of maybe I should just take
Cup garlic.
no garlic. We don't have enough garlic to make a gas bomb.
What are you talking
What's your idea for garlic? I heard it wasn't as effective.
Not immediately detrimentally effective.
But
if vampires are drawn to strong smell, maybe we could use garlic to, Anyways, it's kind of dumb. Don't worry about it.
No, I want to hear it.
I kind of want to get a kind of a general idea of what this complex looks like. Let's go. I wonder if I can convince someone to come eat. Nah. Maybe I'll wait until the Vox are here. We don't really have the stealthiest group. Unless Torak, that's your name, yes?
Tarak, but you're very close.
Torak, how good are you at it? Do you think you're good? How well do you think you can scout?
Scout? Well, if I take off my armor, which I'm very scared to do, but if I take off my armor, I've got stubby legs. Like I said, I'm not the most agile. But if that's what you need me to do, I will do it as long as I'm there with you.
No, this is just theoretical. Just thinking. I'm kind of looking through my inventory right now to see if I can actually do anything to prepare.
Well, if you take your armor off, won't the bushes be tickling your taint? I'd imagine that can't be comfortable walking through the forest.
I've luckily got enough garb to where it's thick enough to where it doesn't penetrate through, though.
Oh, that's good.
I've also got a very hairy ass.
Which holy water do we have?
Oh, we did want to go to churches in town and ask for that, and we never did.
I have for some reason, I have a gallon.
Like I said, when we've
We'll
done
say the
that-
Sapphire Guard has brought a couple vials per person.
Oh, nice.
I was gonna
So
say, I
40
remember-
vials, which is a couple ounces.
Could probably also make some more.
Oh, actually.
Does anyone have any root beer?
No.
I got a gallon of poison.
Just holy poison.
Just
Yeah.
I got-
Holy poison!
God damn it! Why'd you say drink? I was gonna get it. Just say actual beer.
I have been reminded. DM, we found more like various notes. I probably should take some time to look into those.
Yes. This will take you an extensive amount of time to go through.
I got plainly.
And when I say extensive, I mean the last note was not even a paragraph, and it took you an entire night plus some. Probably 12 or so hours to decipher. Now, because
Can I
of
get
that,
guidance to him?
and because of the nat 20s, yes, but let's continue. Because of the nat 20s rolled by both you and Sakir in attempting to decipher them, it will lessen the time, but it will still take a long time as there are a lot of new characters. You do not have the entire alphabet of whatever language this is.
Alright. What about that block of potassium?
What about it?
I remember I had to look into that more.
So how much do you want to look into it?
Oh boy. How much time do we have before the box get here?
An hour or so.
An hour? We'll just do a quick, a short hour investigation on that, and then I'll probably go out scouting with the box if they decide
Will
to
do.
do that.
Go ahead and roll me a investigation. And we'll see where this goes.
Would you like me to roll on Forge or D&D Beyond?
Either one works. It does not matter to me.
Okay. Investigation. Okay. Bonk. 5.
It takes you the entire time. But as they're getting there, you're like, this shouldn't have been hard to figure out. But your mind wandered to so many different subjects along the path that as soon as you hear the horses clip in the distance, you immediately think, oh, Rikus is here. And then you're like, wait, guns, explosives, wait. And you look down at this, and you are absolutely certain that this is potassium nitrate.
Oh, fuck. I thought it was potassium chloride. Whoa.
So this just block of hardened white powder is just potassium nitrate.
Leopold, I think we have some explosives.
think I know what we're gonna do today.
I think I know how we're gonna blow up the estate. Leopold.
How so?
Like dunks the block of potassium nitrate on like a nearby table. So this is potassium nitrate, commonly used for gunpowder and explosives.
And it's been a while since I've had to deal with such chemistry, but correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't that be quite a potent explosive?
Yes.
Than put in mortar?
Yeah. I don't know how. I'm not an explosive expert, so I don't know how explosive. But it should make a good hallucinogen. I don't actually know how big is this block. It's been a while.
If memory serves, it was a solid handful. Like, it takes both of your hands side by side to cover the base of this square.
I remember it being like a cattle lick. That's like what I pictured. It's just like one of the big ass like cattle salt bricks that are like, it's effectively like a 10, 15 pound block of salt.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
It was close to, I don't know about 10 pounds.
It's like a foot by a foot. I don't know exactly how big. Like,
Yeah, but it
heavy
was
is.
like a 5 to 7 pound block of this stuff.
I mean, it's probably fine as is. We don't have to use it. Right?
I mean,
We'll do more planning whenever Rikus gets here.
you got sulfur on hand?
I mean, we have what? We asked for like a couple barrels of gunpowder, right?
That is fair, you did. So
Right.
as the Vox enters in, nearly quadrupling, or more than tripling, almost quadrupling your fighting force as they enter in, they all begin to set up their ragtag camps. What is everyone's passive insight?
At the camp.
Everyone.
16. 14.
14.
You don't need the insight as much on this one, Tarak. 10. Rikus, what's your passive insight? 17. So, everyone over a 15 immediately will note that even with the stone sides, maybe a quarter of them have an innate level of discomfort as the Vox enters in. With this group, like especially you, Tarak, you know that there are some people in the stone sides that weren't necessarily as approving of their senators' political maneuverings of late. However, they're still loyal, they're still going to do their job, but it will be maybe a little bit more strenuous in between the stone sides outside of combat. There may be a little bit more social disagreements.
Well, I know what the captain thinks.
The captain is actually a very neutral person. Jaharius is, in general, very neutral politically. He tries to not get involved or have as many opinions. He was raised effectively to be a guard. So politics and such
That's exactly what I want to hear.
mean pretty much nothing to him.
I would be going up to him and saying, Captain, I think it might be a good idea to maybe, group huddle together and discuss how we're going to navigate this situation with the Vox.
We have our orders. That is how we are going to navigate this situation. I have made sure that none of the rest have brought any drink or substance on this mission, and there shall be minimal discussion of it. I have already spoken with some of the lieutenants. Outside of that, I don't really see much that I can do. Of course, I could have a big hullabaloo with everyone, but I do not see the necessity of but they are professionals. If they're unable to handle a little bit of a rowdy allyship in this case, then perhaps their armor needs to be stripped.
Completely understood, sir. I'm glad you already got that connected. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, I was a little bit worried about it at first, but I believe we'll be alright. He kind of looks out towards members of the Vox and says, there's even a few dwarves among them. Well, they will more than likely be Cocky Mountain dwarfs. That is what it is. Perhaps some will find kinship. Unlikely as it is.
Well, sir, as long as I know that I have the back of the captain, that's all I need.
Yes. We will hopefully get some scouting from the Vox and figure out exactly what our plan of assault is. More than likely, I assume that we will be clearing the chaff.
That's the best we can do.
Yes.
Though it does suck that there's no drink. I'm getting quite bored.
There is always water. He says that as he pulls out what generally would be considered a wineskin and drinks some water from it.
Very true. And I
Casually pulls out very small, like.
I thought you were about to say pulls out a fucking whiskey
There's always
canteen.
water.
and-
Yeah, I just pulled out a very.
Just the Vox, just like unloading kegs upon kegs.
Yeah, I'm just pulling out a really small canteen that definitely has whiskey, and I just take a sip and put it back. Like,
Take a sip of your trusty Vault 13
As
canteen.
everyone arrives, the captain kind of notes to you and says, if you would gather the rest of the Inexorables, I believe it would be best if leadership on all sides gathered together and had a short discussion.
Yes, sir. I'll get them all together.
Thank you.
And I go to Leopold, since he seems like the guy that would be able to get the other two that I know of in the Inexorables, and say, the captain wants to have a word with everyone in the Inexorables.
This is a smart move, considering Rekus and Sakia just got in. Alright, I assume I know at least where Leopold and Wayne are? Or when I say Leopold,
I was
and Wayne are?
I was with him, so I would know where he is, at
Yeah.
least.
And Nelson would be able to bring Wayne in. Nelson
You
just...
also have the walkie-talkie.
We do indeed have Rocky Talkies. I always forget about that.
I just scream across. I just scream across the way, like, "Hey, you guys!"
That wasn't a sign language I know.
It's a homemade sign language.
My favorite type of language.
Yeah. Just...
I wonder what he's saying.
And Nelson leads you into just a group of other people.
What a
Wayne just like,
My favorite place.
um,
Where's the days?
my gosh.
I get it.
So,
It took me a second, but I got it.
who is getting those 2 plus members of the Vox?
I'm just be like, hey, team meeting. Apparently.
I guess Lyndon
Another
would
rock.
try to find Rikus because he's like, Rikus, look.
So you guys hear on the Rocky Talkie just, hey, team meeting, bring Vox leadership. As
There's
Lennon,
something personal I've been wanting to tell you. Okay, yeah, we'll be right on our way.
as that said, you guys see like you see the like light blue skinned person kind of just jumping up as Lennon is trying to find you guys, and he kind of moves up to you and is Lennon.
no, yeah. As we're walking up, I'm gonna be like, yeah, you know, that mission where I almost died recently, and a lot of things went wrong.
Mhm. What about it?
And as soon as I do this,
Lennon, what do you say as you walk up?
Rikus, we got a lot of stuff. We found a lot of stuff while you guys were at the box camp.
I see that you brought 20-some more dwarves, it seems.
Yeah, personal guard of the senator. Really cool.
Cool.
I think Leopold was saying we needed to all the leaders need to meet up to talk about, I guess, what's gonna happen.
Nice. Do
Speaking-
you still have that potassium in your hand?
Yeah.
Bro, you're just carrying in one hand like.
And I'm gonna look
Seven
down at the
pounds.
potassium and
He's
be like,
definitely like two-handing it, just holding it like at.
By the way, you do not know
Chest
what this
level.
is. Just making
I
sure.
thought we already decided that it was like some form of potassium.
It is
Earlier on.
potassium. You guys know like when Barry sold it, it was like want some potassium.
Yeah.
It's potassium.
And what's the potassium for?
Oh, we'll discuss that later. I think Leopold wants to use it. I think Leopold will want to use it.
Okay.
I'm not.
Snorts it.
Dies.
Blows his eyes.
Before you ask me
Okay,
to
we
put
might
it
explode by snorting it, but
before you ask me to put it away, I think it's best if I don't.
It's still the end of his nose. He lights the cigar.
Is
It's a
potassium
permanently
nitrate the
lit
one that
cigar. Thank you very
if
much.
it can
Oh,
come in
God.
contact with water?
no, that is not potassium nitrate.
That's just pure
I think it's
potassium, right?
sodium, though.
That's sodium.
Potassium nitrate alone, I don't think will explode. Is it explosive?
Pretty sure.
Potassium
No.
nitrate by itself is used as a fertilizer.
It's also
Yeah.
used in a lot of like food processing.
Yeah.
However, when mixed with something like an oxidizer or something that innately like gunpowder or sulfur or stuff like that, that when combined with flame goes boom, it makes the boom big.
So it's,
Yeah.
I guess not necessarily an accelerant, but same kind of
It's
idea.
effectively an accelerant.
It's effectively an accelerant.
According to
Yeah.
Google, pure potassium reacts violently and explosively with water.
This is potassium nitrate.
Yeah, I know.
So, as you all gather, I'm assuming you two grab members of the Vox, people like Craig and Saramis, Katerina, maybe Ed, Dracus, Pax, which we didn't actually talk about whether Pax was going with you, but he is with you.
Ed said he wouldn't leave his side, so
Yeah.
No, Pax seems well.
Try not to step on anyone.
Is
I
Pax
will
shorter?
do my best, however, they are very small.
Is the joke.
They are bright, though, so they are easy to spot.
Sure. Dwarves, ever bright creatures.
he's talking about their armor, doofus.
And you completely missed the joke. Why is both of you no sense of humor?
Humor was not designed when I was created by my god. It was beauty.
As you can tell.
Pax,
guy's
do you
full of
think,
crap.
Do you think my
Sorry, there was
Pax?
sorry,
do you
there
think
was
my
a joke.
Pax? Do you think my brother has beauty?
Maybe
Please
in
don't
a
answer
rugged,
that.
hairless sense.
Please.
I was never a good designator of beauty or not beauty. It was merely a domain of my deity.
Huh.
That's something to talk about. Your deity.
Hairless
Domain
sense,
of beauty.
Among other things.
I see.
I believe there's a meeting we should be getting to.
Yeah.
Yes, let's talk about that instead.
Domain of beauty and decimating our foes.
There's beauty in that. So
There's beauty in chaos, in bloodshed, in guts.
Beauty and death.
glory, ram.
Every time a bit of lore, like backstory lore, is about to get dropped, it just gets fucking cut off.
this really is the campaign of cucking.
Welcome.
Cocking or fucking, there's a big difference.
There's both.
We've already
somehow.
decided plenty
We
that
haven't
both of this
had
party
that
does
much
not
fucking,
fuck,
obviously.
Yeah, and there has been mention of the cuck chair in multiple hotels.
So. Well, I mean, every hotel's a cuck.
I just
Every-
meant when,
nothing
whenever they
unusual.
split up, you keep cucking them on each part.
My gosh, that's fair.
That's
So,
how
We literally
that's
had
how-
an episode called the Cuck episode.
I did not title it that.
No,
but
it
that
was-
is what happened. Where
it was-
we
it was-
jumped
I
from one
thought
side to
that
the other.
was-
I remember that one. That was a lot of fun.
So, As everyone gathers, who wants to start this? Are you guys gonna try and start it, or are you just gonna wait for someone else to?
You first or us first?
Pax is doing better.
My health and size has increased greatly from the last time we met.
I
Virility
can tell
too,
by how
I'd
much I'm
wager.
training my neck.
What?
Virility too, I'd wager.
Quite possibly. I have not yet tested.
Regardless of the Virgin Priest comments. How many in total were you able to bring from the box?
Craven speaks up. Exactly 37 of the Kravas Guild, along with 3 Pallid Guard and a few other random members of the Vox. Our total number is 46.
46 plus 20 plus the party.
46.
So we managed to get 20 of the... I know I asked you for it earlier, and I should have noted it down,
Sapphire
and I
Stone
didn't.
sides.
Stone sides, okay. So
71.
46 plus... We managed to get 20 stone sides, and then there's the Inexorables. Does the Vox count packs?
No. Pax is not included in there.
72.
Yes, we have a lot of people here.
Yes.
We also brought a dwarf that's better than all your dwarves.
What?
I didn't know this was a competition.
I did not think it was a competition, but I guess I'm better than the rest of y'all.
Regardless of...
That's gonna help personal relations.
Uncle Ed. No, I'm kidding.
You just see
I
the
have to...
stock
I will
of
look
a
at all of your
rifle.
firearms later. Meeting is more important right
Oh,
now.
yes, you will.
I'm watching his pants.
So you're going damn right you will check out my firearms later.
Homoerotic comments aside. So, about the plan of attack tomorrow.
I just grew another 5 round.
I know we'll be able to get into the front gate at 9 a.m. exactly. That's when it's going to open up. We need to be ready to move out before then. No, Linen, I believe you mentioned a potential explosive.
Oh yes. Plops down his block.
I think you
So
have
we got-
allergies, Lennon.
Say again.
Your hands, do you have allergies?
Yes, as you look down at your hands, they are getting more and more irritated the more and more you touch this with your bare hands.
Were your hands always pink?
No, more of a grayish blue. Anyways, I figured out what this block that Barry told me was.
And it was...
Potassium nitrate.
Ah, yes.
You immediately see Ed's eyes like light up.
Wayne's just gonna be like, "Oh yes, wonderful.
I told
What
you.
was that?"
It's an explosive
anyway,
accelerator.
we have extra explosives for Leopold's plan if we need it.
And I still think that it is a good plan.
I mean, as long as we have the proper materials on the other hand, do we have sulfur?
We have TNT.
And that'll help.
The Sulfur Boys might have some.
Sulfur boys.
Yeah, Baldy and Grayskin.
We have a couple frag
They both
grenades.
have grayskin.
Yeah, but I called him Baldy and Grayskin.
Grayskin.
Well, I have a frag grenade I haven't used yet. If we could take it apart, it has some components in it that may help.
Wait.
Looks up grenade research on another tab.
Tarak, did you and the Sapphire Stones ever requisition those gunpowder barrels that the Senator talked about?
Yes. You guys were able to bring 2 1-gallon barrels of gunpowder along.
And we have 3 people who use gunpowder in one of their main attacks, so I'm sure we have some.
Yes. So my initial plan was that we could potentially set off an explosive at one end of the estate, so that way it could both hopefully kill some vampire spawn, as well as serve as a signal for the rest of us to go. Because, as I'm sure everyone has been filled in, all of the vampires should be asleep in their rooms midday. Thus, whenever the explosives go off, that is our signal to kick down the doors to all of our rooms and kill as many vampire spawn as we can while they wake up. That should deal with the majority of their forces. Then there are only some of the more special things, like the dogs, the main vampire himself, and the Agothiath. Is that how you pronounce it?
A couple of my notes.
The dumb ogre troll thing.
Yes. I specifically remember him. Let me. I believe it was the Olagithiath. Orgathiath. The Orgithiath.
That is not how I put that down.
Or give you.
Gork. The Orgithiath.
Texas, the betray.
As you guys continue, Craven is going to speak up. I will let it be known to this assault group that I have already sent a few of my personal scouts ahead to begin mapping out with cartography tools the Longwood estate. My hope is that they will be back by the end of the hour. That way we may be able to have some form of a map before it's dark this evening.
Good idea. I was about to ask Rikus to do it after this meeting, since he's the stealthiest of the Inexorables.
Yes, I believe we have people more fit to the task.
You probably very well do. So, regarding the plan itself, after we have hopefully killed all the vampire spawn, that leaves only a few key opponents in the estate itself. There is the Ogithiath, there are 8 invisible hounds, as well as the main vampire himself, whose name is it Varus?
Vicious.
Vicious. Varus is the other vampire. Vicious is this one. Yeah.
Yes, I guess we should explain what we know about Vicious so far. Or is everyone up to date on that?
I don't believe
There's somewhat, but another explanation would not be bad.
Yeah. So, Vicious is part of a greater vampiric ring of some controlled by some shadow vampire lord that they call Quentar. Long story short, we learned of Vicious' little operation here in our search for our missing Archmage Stolius, which the Inexorables was initially tasked to find. From what we know about Vicious, he's very much a brute, and from our information, he is someone who is able to go toe to toe with Pax. So very much a dangerous one. So no solo is what we've been told.
Yes. At that point, I would like to look at Pax. And did you guys brief the rest of the group on Pax and his, I guess, potential condition?
Amadeus?
Did we talk to Pax about his potential
No,
condition?
did you guys talk to the rest of the party about Pax's potential condition?
Isn't Pax like right next to us?
Yeah.
Well, yes, but I'm wondering if I know about Pax's condition in character.
Oh.
That he is scared of?
Yes.
We probably would have included
I
it
think
in
that
the
that's a very
brief-
important detail, honestly.
We probably included it in the brief summary when we were talking to each other.
Yes.
Right.
Well, the initial plan that we were under was that, gesture to Pax, you might be able to deal with Vicious himself, but I understand that might be a bit in flux.
Pax will speak up. I am not in doubt of my capabilities, however, without my armor especially, it will be a more challenging fight. I did not get to battle with him. Our only conflict occurred with me in chains. Regardless, I do believe it would be best if there was more than just me attempting to fight him. Vicious will likely have a few of his hounds, if not all of them, along with extra around him.
Yeah.
So, as many people as we can, assaulting him would likely be the best.
Oh yes, that was another detail. We do want to make sure all 8 of these hounds are killed, because apparently they're very patient hunters.
There was
Such
only
that
4.
if we...
They're 8-legged.
8-legged, my bad.
There are 4 of them. According to Central, he only knows of 4, but they are invisible. like
Yeah.
99% of the time. So there's possibility.
This
Well, I have something I can handle that.
So-
Leopold is going
so
to.
the-
I'll let you finish, and then I'll pull out Leopold's genius idea.
So the invisible patient hunters, and from what we've been told, if we kill Vicious, they will be released and attempt to actually hunt us down. And it could be from anywhere from in the near future to months, maybe years down the line.
Yes. Hopefully, we should be able to kill them today, though. And Leopold is going to pull out a pair of goggles. While we were working at the camp earlier, did a little bit of modifications to these, and they should allow me to see invisible creatures. And combined with this, he pulls out a large, blunderbuss. I should be able to paint them for others to see in magical light. And will even make them easy to attack this, which is my in-character explanation of saying that this technically happens over a long rest, but I swapped out one of my spells, Web, for see
goggles of see
invisibility.
invisibility.
Yes,
effectively.
and then I also always had that very far prepared.
Okay. Sick.
So that should be able to deal with them.
There are at least, what was it, 4?
Four, yes.
Maybe more?
4 that Sinsel knows of.
Yes.
Craven is going to say, and are we in complete trust of this Centaur? Are we guaranteed that the gate will be open and we will not be met with nearly every vampire spawn on the walls?
Do I trust that the gate will be open? Nah, I would say more like not. Do we trust Centaur Varus entirely? Far from the truth. Far from it.
There is a reason we keep asking for explosives.
Yes.
Well, if we are to do an explosive entry, then I believe once we have a map there should be more strategy to this. As that is said, Jaharius will speak up. Yes, I certainly believe so as well, Mr. Saramis. With 20 members, and 2 of them will be accompanying the Inexorables, I believe our best distribution of resources would be a concordance of 3 to 4 of the Sapphire Stone sides, leading the blunt of most assaults due to their heavy armor and shields, along with a few Vox, if not a large squadron, falling behind each of them. You have many Vox that are more in the ranged category, and Craven kind of nods, and he says, I believe if we are able to take the walls, that we should establish a perimeter before anything else. If we are able to take the walls through the gates, and with minimal interference, place eyes along the walls, we will be able to make sure nothing escapes. On that same note, we send Inexorables along with maybe some other scouts in, possibly plant this bomb. If it succeeds, we will be able to spread in with a series of squads, all paired together in groups of 7 to 10. And we will lead an extermination group with the Inexorables, my companion, along with maybe a few others, obviously packs, to possibly go and deal with this Vicious.
Yes, though, speaking of Paxton, that did at least bring up one idea that I had. Do you think that we might be able to potentially sneak in and find Pax's armor and potentially allow him to armor up?
Katarina is going to say, honestly, we've got some quite stealthy people in the Vox. Sending them in there before any chaos occurs would be a death trap, if nothing else. Especially with 4 invisible hounds creeping about. If hound is an apt term for them, their scent, an unnormal scent will be very easy to spot out. So sending insurgents to acquire the armor, very unlikely. If we are to go with the Captain Jaharis' plan, I will be more than willing to lead a group of 10 to 20 of the Vox to establish a perimeter on the walls first thing. It is along the side of the ocean as well, so we may want to have people patrolling the beachhead.
Sounds like we have it all planned out then. There's no suggestions?
So,
No suggestions.
as strategy commences, I'm going to go ahead and just throw up the map. of the location real quick.
Forge? Or
One more note.
Bless you.
Can you move that burger, please?
Yeah.
Or, like, all the way off? Thank you.
he's gonna eat it.
One more note of intelligence is to believe our archmage we're looking for is in the east wing second floor basement. Assuming that there are more hostages
Second floor basement?
inside.
Like there are
do
two
we-
levels to the basement.
There are
Yeah.
3, actually.
Yeah.
I guess
Second level basement. Assuming that there are more hostages or survivors, do be careful as we are dealing with vampires here that have managed to charm Pax here.
As that is noted, Craven will speak up. If this is indeed the case, and Stolius is to be on a lower level of the basement, I will lead a contingent as a rescue operation.
Do be careful.
We shall.
one question from the DM though. I thought that this manor was like on cliffs. Am I
It is.
misremembering?
The cliffs are nearby. It is part of so maybe I misspoke previously, and or maybe I made the map incorrectly. Regardless, there are cliffs nearby. The estate is not just what is inside the wall. There is quite a bit of land set around it that is part of it. If I did, I can go back through since
Okay.
we're about to end the session.
I guess I was expecting that to be cliffs.
I was going to say, if we're expecting that to be cliffs, then we'll say that it is.
I was expecting cliffs with some sort of like potentially like stairs down to docks.
Okay, then I will redesign this a little bit and post it. That's probably just me forgetting about that note since I don't
You also forgot the basements.
remember it.
What? No?
The basements are quite extensive, as the manor that is seen atop the ground level is not ridiculously huge. It's a 3-story manor, but honestly, it doesn't look like it could be any more than like in 6, 7, 8,000 square feet above the ground.
I just
Man, the
remember
senator-
thinking about
The senator
sprawling
couldn't get a hold of
dimensions,
old architectural
Yeah.
or some shit.
which is kind of why I also was like, oh well, they probably just got exits.
It's
from
crazy.
those,
It's crazy even
like,
3 gates
caves
were
that
Yeah,
exit
they're
to the water.
that's
Yeah.
definitely on
Magical
the cliff. I
stuff
just
went on
forgot to
there.
put them
I'll
there.
say that's would make more sense if they were on cliffs though, because then it's gonna be higher up in the water.
Right, but definitely magical shenanigans with that basement being right next to the water and having 3 levels, right?
They can't just. There's a lot of ground around the mansion as well that could be used. And imagine going down.
Just giving
You
you
can go outside the section of the walls. Regardless. So as we have gotten the map, a base idea of the plan, we're gonna start next session. I'll get the map cooked up again. The general idea is that you guys were talking about setting explosives off in one of the portions of this. Well, this right here is the gate, which will hopefully be opened when you guys approach at 9 a.m.
Bitch, better have my gate open.
And
Teleport
you
through.
guys will likely not go in the front entrance, but probably one of the side entrances along the side of the building to enter in, probably plant the explosives and try and create a large diversion so that everyone can enter in to the basement, catacombs, dungeon, whatever we wish to call
I
it.
guess that was a little bit off from what I was thinking, because I was thinking, like get in there and use the explosives as a signal to kick in the doors. But thinking about it, moving that many people inside the mansion without somebody noticing is probably pushing it.
Very much pushing it, especially when you have, considering the Vox probably has 20 of their own members that are wearing plate and heavy chain, along with the 20 members of the Stone Sides. Like,
Yeah.
you're moving 40 plate armored people in there.
They're big chunk.
Yeah, big chunk. And none of those plate armored people are ranged either.
Mhm.
But Katarina will arrange a series of probably 15 to 20 ranged members of the Vox around along top of the wall, and then patrolling the cliffside, not beachhead, cliffside. which I will get changed. So with that, sadly no combat. Jack will be joining us online for at least another session or two. Probably 2, if not more, just because we take forever to do anything.
Welcome to the party,
I
Jack.
would say that we had great RP, but we kept getting cucked.
You guys cucked yourselves, to be fair.
Well, no, the 2 of them cooked the rest of us.
That is fair.
I did
Either
not
way, I will end the
consent to this
recording.
cuck.
Another, what is this currently?
Hilarious though.
2.5 hours?
Yes.
I will
Another
admit,
2
after
and-
the first one, which was not planned at all,
It became the running
You
joke.
should-
we
named the
started
session
running off
sex.
that.
The what?
The sex name?
The sex name? No.
No, like what was the
Oh,
name?
the Concordian
Concordian
Soufflé.
The Concordian.
You should make that the title of the
Okay,
episode.
I'm debating it now. I'm debating it now.
Because
Either way, we're gonna go ahead and end the recording.
I was thinking a sword with 2 edges.